you're scrambling your own plans, don't you?
Tab back in, the first thing I see is the pan in dab from off screen. Incredible. Hi everybody. I'm in a weird mood. I felt like trying a just chatting stream. And while I was at it, I was gonna do some tier lists. But I can't fucking make one. And the ones that already exist for what I was gonna use are fucking ugly. Maybe I'll just use the ugly ones. Fuck it. But more importantly, how is everybody this evening? I hope you're doing well. Look at all them bots. Well, I can't prove those are bots, but I don't think Santa Claus Gift is a real account. Hopefully we pick up some more peeps. Can't make one. Yeah, it won't upload the images for some reason. I don't know why. I upload them in a batch, I hit the buttons, and then it takes me to the tier list I made, and there are no images on it anywhere. None whatsoever. It's an empty tier list. Fucking busted. And I authorized that thing to access my Twitter, which was probably a mistake. So, if it's not even gonna work, that's about to get revoked in a hurry. But yeah, I figured we'd just hang out for a bit. I could take some requests if y'all want to hear my opinions on stuff, and you know a good tier list. And I wanted to start with... Alright, let's see which of these has them all. That does not. I wanted to start with some stuff from Rogue Legacy 2, because I've been playing a shit ton of that lately. Rogue Legacy 2 classes 1.0 release. Oh, I already did this one. Okay, so I gotta reset it. Boing. Okay. That one was practice. Where's the weapons? I'm also annoyed because the talents, nobody made a tier list for the talents. It makes me sad. Because I wanted to talk about those. Relics, classes. I know I just had a weapons one open. Go. Legacy 2 weapons. I promise there will be visuals soon. I'd just like to find this first. Actually, while I'm at it, let's see if I can find talents. And this is just to get us started. I can do other stuff. Request. It would be nice if uploading things to the internet worked in 2022. So that didn't really get into the first game. Take it a second, it's got a bit more going on. Yeah, in short, absolutely. I liked the first one. I had a fair few criticisms with it, but I still managed to get addicted anyway. I feel like Rogue Legacy 2 addressed almost every one of those criticisms. And I didn't even tell them, so like, they must be psychic. It's a little cavalier with a massive list of disabilities. So like, either the joke's gonna land, you're gonna be like, ah, it's me, that's me, or it's not, and it's gonna feel really shitty. So like, you gotta know that going in. It's like, if you don't know the premise, it's a roguelite, sort of Metroidvania style, where you're exploring a castle, and every time you die, you move on to the next person in your lineage. And so they have a couple randomized traits, and a lot of them are like, they're like disabilities with game mechanics flavor. So like congenital insensitivity to pain. You can't see your health bar. You don't know how much damage you're taking. One time you get hit, and that's just it. You're done so. But you will never know until that moment comes. So it's a little like life. Except we have to feel the pain anyway in life. Anywho. Let me say we get started, shall we? Hated CIP in the first game. It's funny because I feel like... Hey, why is that showing? Hey, you go away. It's not supposed to show up. Okay. It's funny, it feels like it doesn't make much difference for the way I play, especially in Rogue Legacy 2, because if I'm getting hit, that's a problem. Like, there's so many ways to avoid getting hit at all. Let's see. Classes. Okay, let's start with classes. So, obviously, this will be a lot of mechanical spoilers for Rogue Legacy 2. So, if that's something that you wanted to find out for yourself, this bad time stream. But, I'll try not to get in any story spoilers. I don't think I have to give my opinion on where these characters fall. First of all, we're going to rename these because everybody's names always suck. Busted. Good in most situations. I think that's actually what it said, but viable. Situational. And God help me. We're just doing Rogue Legacy stuff. No, I'm taking requests. If you would like me to do a tier list, I'm totally down. If you can find one on Tiermaker or any other website that does this, I don't know if there are others. By all means, pass the link my way, and I will get to it. I'm just giving out opinions today. That's the mood. I don't know why that's the mood, but it is. So, let's see. I'm not gonna put on... Do I put on music, or do I let y'all put on your own music? I don't know. Which of this is better? Whatever, we'll rock it without for now. Anyway, so let's get started. Knight, we'll start with Knight since that's the base class. Obviously, that's like kind of the baseline for viable. I might put it as high as this, but if we're considering the whole class and not changing any of the weapons or talents, then I'm not crazy about the Knight's talent. The shield block, it's all right. Like it's a potential to avoid damage, which is awesome. We love that. It's all the hoops you got to jump through to do it, though. Like it's the only potential to avoid damage talent that you have to time properly, pretty much. Like any of the others, you can just rip them and get out of jail free. But the Knights makes you time it, and if you miss time it, you still take damage. Like, you know, and sitting there to blocking stuff is not my style. That feels like giving up. It's like, if you can avoid damage, like I said, you should be. You don't have much health to work with. That said, the Knight's weapon is very good. Obviously, it's, you know, presumably the one the game was built, designed around. So, it's got a good swing radius. It's pretty quick. Striking while on the move is kind of rare now, actually. So that being one of its innate benefits is a plus for Knight. And also the stat distribution is, you know, basic but good. Beefy, healthy. As you rank it up, you get equip weight, which is good because that means more relics, and relics be busted. So, let's see. Who do you typically unlock next? I usually unlock the Barbarian next. Now, anybody who knows me, knows anything about me outside of the stream, or possibly inside of the stream. You see, I wish I was good enough at avoiding damage that it wasn't relevant, but I definitely am not. It's a little easier in Rogue Legacy 2, I find, because Rogue Legacy 1, the hurt box was so fucked. It's so needlessly big. It's still kind of an issue in 2, but I think they took feedback during early access and toned it down a little bit. There's not as much like bullet hell without the 1 pixel hurt box feel to Rogue Legacy 2 for me, which is one of my big complaints. It's like all of the gameplay is based around dodging projectiles and you're bad at it. This ain't Toho. this is Castlevania. But yeah, so moving on. Barbarian. This is going to be a crime against everything I stand for, but the guy with the axe is not very good in this game because the axe sucks. It's just a crappy axe. Easily one of the worst I've ever held. It does piss for damage in the air, which is where you are like 80% of the time. It's like trying to play Castlevania as Little Mac. It's not it's not a great time. Winter's Shout is the only talent that recharges when you get hit. So again, there's that little bugbear of, if you have to get hit to make this work, why aren't you running something that keeps you from getting hit, that like works by avoiding damage? That just seems like a waste to me. Also, all it does is freeze. And like, yeah, it's got a big radius, but you're not going to get the crit on everything you freeze in a room if you just like walk to the center and rip it. You're not going to reach all of them in time. It felt like I was taking hits out of nowhere really often. Glad to hear that wasn't just me. Yeah, no, that's an issue that I have with Rogue Legacy 1. A talent that recharges when you do the thing you don't want to do. Yeah, it's somewhat mitigated by the fact that you eventually get the ability to recharge any talent from potions. But the fact that it has to wait for that in order to have a consistent recharge method that isn't taking damage hurts the Barbarian a lot. One thing that helps the Barbarian, and why I would use this more often if I rolled it with Contrarian, which randomizes the weapon and talent, is huge health boost, like massive. If you have like 1,000 health normally, this bitch gets like 1,500. It's crazy. You get like 2 or 3 free hits, which is a lot in this game. So, that's enough to put it in situational for me. I might go with the Horned Helm occasionally, but not crazy about the other shit that comes packaged with it. Let's see, Ranger. We do Ranger. Ranger is... I'm going to be biased against the Ranger for 2 reasons. One, I feel that I have not personally tapped its full potential, and so I cannot speak on the benefits of this class. And 2, the fucking Erebus scar, where you have to be an archer really fast. It's like break the targets. The goal time on that forced me to use a keyboard and mouse for the only time in this entire game, and it was miserable. God help me and you if you try to use the Ranger. Fuck that guy. So awful. Oh my god. The only saving grace is Ivy Canopy with a ranged weapon is actually pretty boss at just clearing out a room. It's just like, I don't want this room to exist anymore. Ivy Canopy, everything's dead. So, like, you have some crazy burst potential with that, but also you have to aim. And, like, aiming on the right stick is not... It's not very fun. It's a little janky. I wish there was, like, something to smooth it out a little bit. Maybe we'll get it in a patch, but who knows. That's for now not about it. Valkyrie's busted. Valkyrie is like the knight with no weaknesses. It's just a better knight. So, yeah. Like, you can hit in every direction with your weapon. It still gets crits on dash, so you have guaranteed crits. That's going to be a theme going into the higher tiers. If not with classes, then definitely with weapons when I move on to just talking about those. And deflect is just a better shield block. And you might be thinking, well, no, but it doesn't work on everything. Yeah, it doesn't work on the shit that you shouldn't be getting hit by anyway. But projectiles, you can mash the button and get through an entire field of projectiles without taking any damage or using any brain power. It's stupid good. You get MP back for it. So you can fucking like throw a fireball or a white star or even a gravity beam, and then they respond with like, die, Toho! And you just are like, I do not see it. Like, what? Are you kidding me? What's the value of the knight meant to be by contrast? I don't think the Valkyrie was supposed to be this good. Also, its innate stats are a little weird. It has a focus on magic for some reason, like magic crits, I think. I don't remember exactly. So, its stat distribution is kind of janky, but honestly, that doesn't bring it down compared to the differences in the weapon and in the talent for me personally. On paper, the sword swings a little faster, and you don't have to choose what direction to swing it in. It just kind of covers an arc in front of you, which is nice. It's good for certain situations that the halberd is, or the Fauchard is not, but it doesn't come up often enough for me to not put the Valkyrie way higher, because I just love having a weapon that can attack in 4 directions. I love having an automatic answer to small projectiles that just deletes them from existence and fucking gives me MP back. Like, the only time you really prefer to be a knight is when you're dealing with somebody who doesn't launch small projectiles. So, like, knight can be a little bit better against bosses, depending on how you play it. And if you really got the block timing down so that you, like, never take damage. And the reflect applies vulnerability, which is something I didn't mention with the knight, partly because I never land it. So, like, it doesn't come into play that often for me. But if you use it right, you can land a status effect that guarantees crits for a few seconds, which is nice. It definitely sees some use in other places. I don't think the vulnerability you get from block timing is nearly as useful as those other sources. Also, I'm way up for obscure pole arms. So did you say they use a Fauchard? Heck yes. Yeah, no, it's fucking weapon porn up in here. It's insane. Love it. Who's next? Who do I usually find next? Mage. We'll do mage. I'm also going to be biased against casters in this, partly because I don't tend to stack int, so I'm always a little wimpy as a mage, which is entirely my fault. Anybody else you talk to who does a tier list like this, they might have a totally different... They might put mage up here, honestly. And in fact, I'm not really considering legendary weapons for this because there's a weapons tier list, and I feel like that's a more appropriate place to talk about it, especially since you don't, like, get those right away. You have to go jump through a bunch of hoops. So this is more for, like, the first time you see this class, how often are you going to want to roll it? That said, I do kind of maintain these opinions going until, like, NG plus 4, which is where I am, because these are all kind of placed where I'm using them now. So there's not a huge difference, but just, you know, asterisk next to the mage comes with a free death scythe if you get far enough. That's good. That thing kicks ass. But otherwise, the mage is just, like, it doesn't have a talent. They did the thing again where it just gets 2 spells, which I guess is alright. I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. I mean, the spells are good. It's not like I don't use them. But it's funny because I often forget that I have a second spell, because my brain is so attuned to, like, seeing the spell slot and being like, okay, that's what I've got for this situation. That's when I use my spell. And I just see nothing for the talent because it's not any of the symbols I recognize. So I do a weird autism thing with mage that makes me not as good with it. The staff is a decent weapon. It's definitely not the worst of the bunch. It has the obvious problem of not being very good at close range, not only because you're not getting the full damage with it, but because by and large, it doesn't have very good knockback. So if somebody's in that close, you can't get them out of your face. Like, you basically have to end the fight before anybody gets to you, which is not impossible, but it's a lot easier with other classes that aren't nearly as weak in close range. Like, if they fail that objective, they still have a chance. The mage just kind of doesn't have enough power to me to make up for its weaknesses. But again, once you get the scythe, that changes a little bit. Because then you have a scythe, and that thing is fucking nutso, and it drains MP every time you hit somebody with it. So, like, you can throw your spells fucking in every direction and just be like, and get all your MP back immediately off of anybody who survives by just hitting them once or twice with the scythe. Very, very interesting choice for the mage, giving them the scythe. I feel like they wanted to give it to the assassin, and then they realized the mage was underpowered. That's the hunch. That's my hunch. I cannot confirm that. I don't know shit about the developers. I've never spoken to them. But I just get a really strong hunch that the scythe was meant for the assassin, and they realized, okay, the assassin's really fucking good. He doesn't need this. Mage, on the other hand, Can't you not hit in front of you with mage? No, you can. You can't hit directly in front of you, but its projectile does shoot straight forward, which is saving grace. Like, if you see somebody in front of you, you can hurt them. You just really want to do it before they get in your face. Otherwise, you're going to be like slapping them with the sour spot on your weapon, which is no bueno. And like I said, no knockback. They're staying there. So that's just your life now. Too bad. Now I don't know who comes next. So how about let's just talk about Boxer, because I like Boxer. Boxer, I'd say, is the poster child for good in most situations. Weird amount of range for being the fisticuffs class. The gloves go like crazy far. I'm not sure what made them make that choice, but hey, whatever, works for me. Boxer has an interesting mechanic where its weapon automatically applies combo, which basically just makes you do more damage the longer you keep up your attack string, and it'll keep track of it over your head with a little tally. But better yet, the Boxer gets auto crits when up to between like 15 and 30 combo. So if you can sustain that long enough, you can shred just about anything with this guy. Also, it has an alt fire mode where you uppercut, which has like ridiculous knockback. I mean, you can send a painting that hasn't aggroed you across the fucking screen to the next fucking zip code. It's nuts. So a lot of utility just in the weapon. The Boxer also has a unique passive in that it cannot be hurt by enemies that aren't actively attacking. So anyone who's just standing there, you can pass right through them. It's called elusive, I think. And I think this is the first one other than the mage that we've gone over that has a passive like that. Or else it's the first one that is memorable. The mage's passive is all of its melee attacks apply like an MP drain, which is, you know, cool, but avoiding damage in any situation is obviously going to be better. So yeah, no contact damage, it just bobs and weaves and doesn't have to worry about it. Just Dempsey roll around that shit. It can be a little iffy depending on the enemy you're fighting, because some enemies' attacks are basically just throwing themselves at you, so they'll arbitrarily put out a hitbox at some point during their animation. It's not reliable, but it will save you some damage. The Boxer's talent is Knockout Punch, and that one's fun because it spends all of your combo stacks to do one crazy strong hit that sends enemies flying, even enemies that can't normally be moved by your attacks, and it also does bonus damage for anyone they collide with, to them and the enemies they collide with. So it's just a fucking like pool ball situation. You just bing, 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 bah. What game is this? Rogue Legacy 2. I just realized I don't have it on the screen. There you go. I've been playing a lot of it lately, so I figured I'd do a tier list on it. That's not all I'm doing tonight, though. If you have requests, something you'd like to hear me talk about, and there's a tier maker for it, or any other website, please feel free to drop a link in the chat at any point, even while we're in the middle of one, and I will try and get to it. So yeah, Boxer good. The one thing I would say is kind of the Boxer's weakness is that you basically can't roll this thing on Contrarian because it does nothing. Like, Elusive is okay, but it doesn't make a lot of sense for other weapon and talent combinations because it's either redundant or just doesn't come into play very often. So, like, if you're gonna be a Boxer, you gotta commit. Like, the innate combo stacks, the knockout punch, burning those for extra damage. None of that stuff works if you're using a mixture of weapons and or classes. So, yeah, you want to be an actual Boxer and not just wear the outfit. Chef. I'm not sure if I want to put Chef in Viable or up with Boxer. It's kind of a toss-up for me. I do like Chef. Chef is very good. I think probably here, actually, would be a good place for Chef. Chef is interesting. It's got a lot of cool shit going for it. First of all, the Chef's passive is weapon attacks apply burn, which, I mean, that's free damage. Who's gonna look that gift horse in the mouth? Burn is a little weird though, because you don't want to proc it over and over, because then it does less damage. It crits on like the last 2 ticks. So that was always a weird thing for me playing through the whole game. It was like, do I want to let the fire do the crits, or do I just want to keep smacking? And honestly, it was usually better to just keep smacking, but it's annoying that I can't cash out on that full damage unless I'm like sacrificing DPS anyway. Yeah, it's a weird DOT. There's poison in this game, so I assume they were trying to differentiate it a little bit. Like there's a couple different dots, actually, I think. No, wait, maybe just poison and fire. No, there is another one. Sort of. Fungal burst, which is the thing that Ranger does on its talent. It'll like, it hits once, and then after a short delay, it fucking explodes and does an AoE. So yeah, interesting statuses in this one. Burn, they had to differentiate by putting the crits on the end of it. So feels like the Optimums tag a load of enemies and let them all tick. Yeah, that's the one situation where Burn is really good, when you don't have a lot of opportunities to attack an enemy and you're trying to, dot them down anyway from a distance. You could just tap a dude and then run off and let him thrash around and take some damage and then get back in when you feel safe. So you can play the Chef, you can play very cautiously with the Chef and get a lot done. It'll just take a while. The other thing that's good about the Chef, though, is the frying pan weapon. It's a weird swing arc, it has a slight delay, but it reflects projectiles. No cooldown, no way to lose it. You just have a weapon that does not give a fuck about projectiles at all. You swing it, they're gone. That's it. It only works on small projectiles, again, but those are most of them. That's like 80%, maybe 70%. So you're going to get a lot of use out of this thing, and it gets a free crit every time it reflects a projectile. So you're boosting your damage every time. How is pan deflects bullets a video game trope now? I don't fucking know. It just happened. Whatever, roll with it. Chef wouldn't have anything going for it if not for that. Because that's fucking nutso. Like you can go into a room with the eyeballs, and you can actually use an enemy that's easy to dodge to farm projectiles to kill the rest of the enemies around it. So like if there's one eyeball that's just like a basic level, it shoots one dinky little blue fireball through the wall, you can just smack it at any point, even if it disappears into the wall as you deflect it. You just got a free crit. So you just go smack the nearest thing and it's already dead, basically. You can leave it alone, the fire will finish it off. Chef is weirdly fire and forget for being like mostly a close range class. Also, its talent is really weird. Its talent is Stew, which heals your health and MP. And that's it. That's all it does. You get 3 of them, and you restore a charge every time you get a health or mana pickup. So it kind of feeds on itself. Like if you lose a shit ton of health but you find like one food item, then you get a stew and you can eat up afterwards and you're basically back to full. So massive sustainability off of that alone. It kind of sucks not having another offensive tool as a result, but it doesn't suck nearly enough to drag the Chef down overall, especially since it's so good at avoiding damage in the first place by just throwing it back and like burning things and leaving them alone on the other side of the screen. Like I said, Chef is great for the long game. If you need to live at all costs, if you just got like Charon's Trial, and you have Pandora's Trial in the next room and you're waiting on that, fucking Chef is your go-to. You will not get hit. Or if you do, rip. Sorry you went to all that effort. Almost had something there. Go next. Oh yeah, Duelist happens at some point. I think Duelist is a good candidate for Viable. I like the Duelist's kit. It's got a very fast-hitting weapon. So fast, in fact, that I cannot get the maximum DPS out of it because it's too fast. It's very hard to swing at the optimal rate and also reserve enough brain power to dodge things and, you know, not lose all your health with the Duelist's weapon. But it does put out a lot of damage. It still gets dash crits like a lot of these do. And the talent is easily one of the best in the game, like bar none. So that helps it out a lot. The combat roll, you get like a second of iframes, more than it looks like you get. Like the iframes go on longer than the animation, and you get a free crit. And it's on a timer that's like fucking 3 seconds. So you'll have it constantly. There's nothing you can do to get rid of it. Like you'll basically always have it when you need it. It's just a matter of remembering that you have it. Unless you have to dodge like 6 things in a row, you're like, and at that point you're probably screwed anyway, because whatever led you to that situation probably should not have happened. Give me any kind of weapon that requires timing and my brain turns off in all other respects. Yeah, mine too. The Duelist is the only one that I can't handle. He's a little too fast for me, so I feel like if your brain is better for that, like if your brain is wired better for that sort of thing, you will have a field day with Duelist, and he's probably a couple tiers higher. But in my experience, it feels like the Duelist was made for somebody way more skilled, like with much better manual dexterity than I have, and most of the time I just find myself very confused by all of its kit. But still very powerful. Would never turn one down, especially if my choice was between that and a bunch of this other shit down here. Gunslinger, God help me. What's with the range classes being bad in this? Why? Because attacking at range is good. It's really good. It's a chance to not get hit. But like all the range classes just suck. I guess because they knew that sitting back and slaying things like with ease would be really boring and not much trade-off. Gunslinger is just crap. I can't think of a single good thing to say about it. The weapon is like the boxing gloves but worse. I think it actually has less range. It's a fucking pistol, and I'm pretty sure it has less range than the boxing gloves. So that's the first hurdle. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but also the projectile speed is so fucking slow. It doesn't crit until the bottom half of the magazine, which means my compulsive reloading habit often works against my DPS. And the talent is ass. It's just ass. It's like a Bomberman thing. Like you put down some dynamite and it explodes after a half a second, and it clears any projectiles it hits, but by the time it goes off, they've probably already moved past it and hit you. It's just, I don't know why it's on a delay. That's so not helpful. And it hits in a cross shape, which is really unintuitive on anything but the most generic map tile. It's just like hallway or straight staircase. Ass. Total ass. Nothing good on the Gunslinger. I think its stats are even like low health, high something that doesn't matter. Like, I can't think of a single reason to use this. The only way you're gonna get XP on this in the late game is to roll Contrarian and get Gunslinger with like fucking Fauchard and Obscura. It's just like the least Gunslinger weapon and talent that you can find. Talking of being ruined by the way your brain works, any weapon that requires me not to reload, oh no. Yeah. Fucks me up. I reload after like every engagement. I reload in the middle of engagements. I'm often shot in the head because I'm reloading so that I will have the maximum number of bullets for the next engagement, which, oh shit, is happening right now. Oh god, oh god, oh god, please cancel the animation. Oh, okay, I'm dead. So yeah. Gunslinger does not play to my strengths, but even without that, I'm pretty sure it's poopy. I don't think most people would I don't think anybody would die on the hill of Gunslinger, unless there's just some crazy secret tech that I'm missing. Who's next? Dragon Lancer. Let's do Dragon Lancer. I think these aren't really in order, but I would say Dragon Lancer is like the high end of good, almost into busted. And the only thing holding it back is speed, which is not holding it back by much. The Charge Lance is stupid good. It's so much damage. I think it might be the best damage in the game, like DPS wise. And I'm not even talking about charging it. If you just stand there slamming the button on the ground, like, it does so much fucking damage. And then if you charge it, you get an auto crit that also does so much fucking damage before the crit multiplier. And then it gets the auto crit like it's just it's the Nuke Lance is what it is. It's crazy. The talent, though, is a little underpowered, I would say. It puts up a shield, a big shield, that nullifies projectiles, and it works on big ones, if I'm not mistaken. So that is good. We will give points for that, because that'll get you out of some sticky situations, especially in the middle of boss fights. The cooldown is a little much. So, like, you hit the button, and you have it for, like, 4 or 5 seconds, and then you don't have it for, like, 15, which is kind of wowie. It's a long time to go without any backup. Like, most of the other talents are either on a short enough cooldown that you'll get them back by the time you need them again, or they depend on your input. Like, they come back with a certain number of strikes. I actually don't remember which one Bastion works off of, but if it works off of strikes, then the problem is that the Dragon Lancer doesn't hit very fast. So, yeah, again, held back just a teensy bit by its speed, but still an excellent class. I would say grab it if it's there, for sure. Like, it's got armor, it's got health, it's got wicked damage. It's really good at getting into areas early before you have the heirloom that's supposed to let you. I was fucking around in the Sun Tower before I'd even beaten, like, the second boss with the Dragon Lancer, because I was just like, oh hey, I can fly an infinite amount and, like, never hit the ground. Let's see what kind of crazy hijinks I can get up to with this thing. And I just fucking went up into the Sun Tower. I was like, yo, this is awesome. Wow. And I was smacking things out of the air. It was honestly easier doing that before the second boss than when I came back after, like, 4 bosses and did it for real with a non-Dragon Lancer class. They're a little nutso. It's like the inverse of situational, where it's fucking great in most situations, and there are a few where it struggles. Bard, I honestly, like, there's probably some crazy like Omega Brain strats with Bard that would blow my whole world open, but I haven't found them. Mostly I've just found myself disappointed. Like, it's really, really hard to use, and it doesn't seem like it's worth the reward. Though I think part of that is because it relies on int scaling. So, like, I'm not getting a lot of damage for the thing that it's supposed to. The Bard's gimmick is it likes to do spin kicks. So you can get, it's like a combo, but just for spin kicks. You get more damage off of them the more of them you do without landing, which is kind of tough to begin with. And also your spin kick isn't that strong unless you pay into certain parts of your skill tree that increase the damage, but again, with int scaling. So you also have to have high int, which I usually don't. I usually have low to decent. Highland. And, like, its weapon is kind of dookie. I don't like the lyre, or is it the lute? I don't know. I don't remember which one. It's a small stringed instrument, and it shoots a little musical note, and it's not great. It's probably one of the worst ranged weapons around. I think it has the shittiest range, for one, so it's not much of a ranged weapon. It also doesn't fire very fast, and it's not that strong. Like, it doesn't have anything going for it. I sincerely don't know what the point of it is, except to be bad and make you consider your other options. The talent is the only thing that I will give some leeway. Crescendo, if you can get it on another class, is actually decent because it works kind of like Deflect, but it has a much wider radius. And after you hit a projectile with it, it becomes a note in a bubble that when you kick makes you sing a funny little do re mi song, but also it chains damage to all the other bubbles. And so like if somebody shot like 6 projectiles at you and they're all lined up really close to each other and you crescendo them, then you can flip kick from across the screen and deal a shit ton of damage to whoever did it, which is fucking weird. And it's the only part of this kit that I would willingly use on anything else. Otherwise I pass on Bard basically every time. Again, maybe there's tech, I just haven't discovered it, but I hella haven't discovered it. I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. Not much better with the Fabled weapon, because now you get your damage back, but you have to spin kick to charge your weapon. Otherwise it doesn't work. I don't know what the fuck is there. Like, there's no way you come up with mechanics this convoluted and you don't have some like big brain plan for them. I know there's somebody out there who's like soloing bosses NG plus 10 with Bard, no upgrades in their castle or some shit like that, and it's just beyond me. I don't get it. Like, live your truth if that's who you are. But that's some let me solo her shit. I can't even fathom. So yeah, I have to put Bard where my gut says to put him, and that's definitely down here. Sad but true. Let's see. Assassin is easy busted. It's probably the most busted. It's the only one that I'm gonna move the position of because this one is in order. Assassin is the most busted class in the entire game. Anytime you get an assassin, that's like a free boss. It's so fucking good. It's stupid good. It doesn't deserve to be as good as it is, but I'm so happy it is because I love playing assassins. The dual daggers are incredible. DPS monsters. 3 slashes, really good coverage in front of you, and a little bit of vertical coverage, so like if you're standing on something, you can kind of slash at people on the platform below you. If they're close. It's not like nutso. Guaranteed crits on the last hit. It also gets dash crits, so you can get crits on the entire string if you want. You got to time it a little though, because you kind of get locked into this like. So you gotta space it right, is what I meant to say, not time it. Obscura is easily one of the best talents in the game. It's the only thing that rivals Deflect, I would say, and it's on a class that has even better stuff. So you just hit a button and you have iframes for like 6 seconds. You can cancel it at any time by attacking, and you get a vulnerability stack for it. It's Knight without any of the timing. That's it. It's just better Knight. It's just a better shield block. Like, you don't have to decide when you're going to use it. You can just see an attack coming and be like, I don't want to be here when that hits. And then fucking however many seconds later you want, because 6 seconds is like an eternity in Rogue Legacy 2 time. You just attack at your leisure, get vulnerability. Your DPS is incredible because your weapon is the best in the game. Dual daggers is the best weapon, hands down. Like, Assassin has the best weapon and is in the running for the best talent. It wouldn't even matter at this point what stats it has innately. It has a little low health, but you're not getting hit anyway. If you are getting hit, like, get good. Sorry, I don't like saying that, but when you're using Assassin and not getting results, it's a skill issue. I don't know how else to put it. It's so fucking good. I've gotten so many freebies off of Assassin. I will enter a new NG Plus cycle. Have no idea what I'm getting into. I'll have like upgraded an entire area of the castle. There's like a souped up boss waiting for me around the corner. I'll roll Assassin and beat like 3 bosses in one run. It's nuts. It's unreasonable. I fully expect Assassin to get nerfed. If that's something they're planning at all, Assassin is going to get nerfed at some point. It has to. There's no way. Unless they buff everything else to be as good as Assassin, like if that's their baseline, which would be kind of silly, but also sort of hilarious and cool. But yeah, like there's got to be some like they gotta lower the timing that you're invincible for after Obscura, or like tweak the damage numbers just a pinch on the dual daggers. Like they're so fucking. It's the only thing that can rival Dragon Lancer for DPS. If you're just sitting there spamming it, it's crazy. Like Assassin just outperforms in something like 6 categories, and they all happen to be the ones that are really important for this game. So yeah, top of busted. Almost deserves its own tier, but I don't think it's that much better than Valkyrie. Valkyrie's really, really good. Valkyrie's just solid fundamentals. Assassin has a few things it does really well, and being as good at those things as it is just totally invalidates anything else anybody has to say. Like, enemies do not get a chance to flex their shit. Let's go back to the other side of the tier list. Astromancer. Astromancer. It's right there in the name. Not good. Very, very bad. It is a close-range caster. I have no idea what they were thinking. Its weapon creates a black hole that draws enemies in. That is not where you want them when you're this squishy. What? What? Its talent does piss for damage that scales with int, so mine was extra piss. It was like super laser piss damage. It does give you iframes, which is the only good thing I can say about the talent. It's comet form. And it lets you fly around like freeform, so you can use it to, you know, cheese your way into late game areas. But it's really far off in a corner of the skill tree, so you might not even get it before you reach those areas, depending on how fast you're going through the game. And then, like, once you've been through your whole skill tree and now you're just putting more points into stats, it's just a worse mage somehow. I don't know how they managed that. It doesn't have a fabled weapon, so like you're stuck with the dumbass scepter that pulls things in for no reason. I don't know. I don't understand it. Again, maybe there's some tech that I'm not getting. That might be the case with pretty much any of the God Help Me ones, except Gunslinger. I'll die on the hill of that being just trash and needing buffs. But yeah, whatever Astromancer has going on, I definitely do not see it. I always, you know, raise my hands to the sky and fucking praise the sun when I roll Astromancer Contrarian with like decent weapons. So it's like, finally I can get some XP on this class. I cannot use its default kit for shit. Like, I don't think I've used a scepter once after first trying Astromancer. I was like, oh, this is awful. And I just never did it again. I assume it's supposed to lock things in place so you can spam your spell at them, but what if you get a spell that costs a lot of MP? It doesn't drain MP with every hit, I don't think. Or it doesn't drain it fast enough, at least. Like, it's just really underpowered, the whole class is. Where's the damage? And it doesn't have any range either, so fucking... yeah, why do you exist? Alright, Pirate is... whoa, nope, Pirate doesn't go there. Pirate goes in Situational. I like some aspects of the Pirate. I'm figuring things out. Pirate is one of those classes that definitely has some tech that I wasn't getting at first, but unlike the others, I'm starting to come around on Pirate. It has a cannon for a base weapon, which is pretty OD. That makes a statement, to be honest. So points for that at least. You're swinging at people, and then if you hold the button down, you can launch a cannonball out of it, so you can use it the way it's supposed to be used, which you aim manually, kind of like the ranger's bow. I fucking hate that aiming system. I really hope they make some changes to it to make it a little smoother, because like I miss shit constantly with that. It doesn't matter if I'm using the left stick, right stick, like there's a lot of ways to use it, but none of them are that good. Except for using a mouse, which is just a huge sacrifice in other areas. I can't play this game on keyboard. So that Erebus was hell. I sure hope there isn't one for the Pirate, otherwise I'm gonna fucking... controller's gonna get broken. But yeah, it's a funky weapon, but since the cannonball has splash damage, it's a little easier to hit shit than with the Ranger. And it does have pretty solid range. And the thing that Pirate has going for it that makes me want to put it in Situational is its main weapon has an arc. It shoots an arcing projectile, which is very rare in this game, and you can do some funky shit with it. Like you can straight up avoid situations that would kill almost any other class by just bombing them from the other side of a wall, which is very on brand for the pirate. Like I'm pretty sure its passive is something like dirty handed, which is, or yeah, like underhanded, supposed to represent, you know, underhanded fighting. It's a slight damage bonus. So it's it fits with the theme. You can just kind of dick on people from around the wall. The talent is fucking wacko. You jump in a pirate ship that automatically fires projectiles straight forward. You can pilot the pirate ship around, or you can jump out of it and let it basically stand in place like a stationary turret, which I find is much more helpful personally. I'll just like rip it and then let it do some DPS while I dodge stuff on the other side of the screen. It doesn't do super good damage because again, talent scale off your int, and mine was never that high. You could probably pump it and get some good results though. So I feel like you could definitely do some shit with pirate. I just don't know if it's consistent enough to rank any higher than this, because it depends on understanding and being decent at a lot of things in this game that are kind of janky, like positioning an object that either is connected to you but you don't have very good control over it, or isn't and just stands in place. Arcing projectiles with an aiming system that's, yeah, it's a little wacky. Pirate's got some shit. It can be hilarious, but I don't know if it's good enough to rate any higher than that. And finally, we have Ronin, who I think is... I'm going to go easy on Ronin. I'm going to put it in good in most situations. My gut says viable. That's kind of where I want to put it, but I think that Ronin deserves a little more than that. Because the Ronin's gimmick is its sword hits a fucking mile away. It's a fucking physical range class. And if you hit with the tip, if you mark them, you get crits. Which is a little harder than it sounds, because the hitbox is kind of funky in comparison to the graphic, the animation. There's like a little hit spark at the end of your sword that isn't technically part of it, and that's like where you want to hit them to get the crit. It's interesting though, because you can kind of jump into range, like from if you're out of range, you can stagger it a little bit, so it's not impossible to get. I wouldn't call it inconsistent, but you do have to work for it. And the trade-off, of course, is that it's very, very powerful. So it's like Dragon Lancer numbers almost, but it's a little faster, not that much faster, and it's like twice as far out, which is saying something, because Dragon Lancer, the charge lance is fucking nutso. The reason I'm going easy on Ronin is because I personally don't get a lot of use out of its talent in Mortal Kotetsu, but on paper it's good. It does damage, it teleports, and not just makes you invincible and moves you across the screen. You straight up teleport. The only thing you can't go through is walls. Projectiles, they don't exist. Enemies, I'll see you later, dude. It does damage, and if it kills, you get it back instantly. Which would be good if it didn't scale with int, because I can't get enough damage on it. It's this weird case where I feel like Kotetsu is actually more useful off the Ronin class because of how much damage the Ronin does per strike. It's really hard to get an enemy's health low enough that you can do this consistently in a situation where you'd want to rip like multiple Kotetsus and just like clear out a room or something. But I find it very useful as a panic button. To just like, I don't want to be in this corner anymore. Shing! And when your main weapon does the kind of damage that Ronin's does, that's fine. Like, that's all you need out of a talent. That'll do. So yeah, that's my tier list of Rogue Legacy 2 classes. I decided to do this both because I've been playing the game a lot, and also because I saw Code playing it, so I thought maybe I could lure in some Code channel viewers by mentioning that I'm doing Rogue Legacy 2 tier lists, but so far it looks like the usual crowd, so I don't know if that worked. But, yeah. Also just like talking about games and this is the one I've been playing. I really should have been playing it on stream, but like, I don't know if I have the energy to stream as often as I've been playing. I'll go for like hours every day. It's a little nutso. So that's the classes. I have a couple other aspects of the game that I could do tier lists on if people are interested, or if you have some that you'd like to link me, and we can move to a different game or a different topic in general, then hit me up. I suppose the usual crowd is also Code Channel viewers, so mission failed successfully? Kinda. I've mentioned contrarian a lot. If you don't understand what that means, there's a trait that you can roll in the game where all your shit is randomized. You'll get a class, a weapon, and a talent independent of each other. They can be any of the ones available in the game. So that occasionally factors into this, especially because the classes have innate like stat distributions that can't be randomized. So you have to pay attention to that. Like, if you got a barbarian with the Valkyrie's loadout, I would say that's better than just a straight Valkyrie, but obviously you can't depend on that because you have to roll contrarian. You can depend on it more than you think, though, because there's a thing you can do where you lock one of your inheritance slots into being a contrarian every time. So one of your available descendants will always have a randomized kit. With a roguelike, you don't have to stream every run. Yeah, I'm also like, I don't know what would be a good time to jump in on a game that I'm in the middle of playing either. I don't have a lot of experience doing that on stream, so I'm still not entirely sure how to go about that, to just be like, hey, I'm in the middle of some runs, just check this out. I've done it before, and it just felt really weird. I was like, I sure hope people know what this game is, and aren't just getting the front end and the back end from me. I think I did that with Hades. I played like, I streamed a lot of my attempts to beat the game the first time, and then I did like all the story, and then I streamed some attempts to beat the secret boss. Contrarian seems like a neat path to FF5 style monster hybrid classes, though. Yeah, it is. It's really interesting. I've gotten some very cool results with that. Although, honestly, sometimes I'll just see a combination of Assassin and Valkyrie and be like, gimme! I'm just not pay attention to anything else. I was like, fuck it. There's also the fact that you can find weapons and talents that aren't your own in curio shops in the middle of the castle. So you can switch on the fly, which is another interesting wrinkle. You might start with a basic class. Like, you might start with Chef and then run into, I don't know, Bastion. And then have to decide, do I want the healing or do I want to just delete 6 seconds worth of projectiles every so often? Which of those matters more to me? And you also get a slight bonus if you take the item from the curio shop. So there's that addition. Like, what is it? With talent, you get more resolve, which is awesome. You get like 50 resolve, which is nuts. Truly outrageous amount. I can get up to like 300 resolve at this point. And then weapon, you get 7% damage increase, and spell, you get 7% magic increase. Of course. Seems like a completely different game to the first. It's definitely built on the like, you can see the DNA of Rogue Legacy 1. You can also just see all of the shit that they were like, oh, what if we did this? No, what if we did this? Just fucking everywhere. Just oozing with cool new ideas. I would recommend Rogue Legacy 2 highly. I did stream it once while it was in early access, and even then I thought it looked promising. But as of 1.0, it is like, it's a full complete game and it kicks ass. Very enjoyable. Lots of shit to do. I feel the need to keep reminding stream that I do not like roguelites. I am forced to play them by the sheer volume of them on the indie market. Because if I didn't play any of them, I wouldn't get to play like 60% of games. So every time I recommend a roguelite, it's with the caveat that I hate this shit, and this one's okay by me. Just bear that in mind. Anytime I recommend a roguelite, this is coming from somebody who really does not like the formula. There are too many great games that happen to be roguelites. Yeah, exactly. And you know, I'm not going to pass up on the merits of something that is good ultimately, just because it happens to be in a genre I don't like. That's not really my style. I play things that are good. And unlike some people, I actually try to stick to that particular code. Doesn't matter if it's genre I like, as long as it's good. Now, some genres are just kind of crappy. I can remember most. But, you know, I give them a chance anyway. Alright, let's see. We have, like I said, a couple more. Wait, oh, that's the screen where I... Alright, I'm trying to find something that won't be overlapping. I got weapons. I could go through the weapons a lot more quickly, since I've already said some about them. Yeah, fuck it, let's do weapons. Oh yeah, we gotta change it to your names. Won't be broke. Solid. Okay. Unfun. Rip. Not as creative as my first batch, but it'll have to do. Okay, okay, so I already said dual blades are toppest to the top, so we'll just put those there. That's the assassin's weapons. Everything I said while I was talking about assassin, just copy and paste that. Absurd damage, really good range, both in front of you and a little bit top and bottom. So you can hit a lot of enemies without getting into their line of sight, which is good. That's always good. And you get a lot of crits with this thing. You get auto crits on dash and on the third hit, regardless of what you're doing. So, just a lot of damage output. Very, very good. Boxing gloves. I don't know why I want to do those next, but... boxing gloves lose a little bit of their luster, like I said, when they're off of Boxer, because they lose a lot of their synergy. Like, they synergize with the talent, they synergize with the Boxer's passives. There's a lot that you go to these for because of the class, and not as much because of the weapon itself. But that said, it's still not a bad weapon. It has good utility. It still has the range. It's got the uppercut, which is great for getting people off. It's just like, boom, see ya! You'll be back in like 3 seconds while I deal with these other patsies. So it's not without benefits, and the combo is innate to the weapon, so you will still apply combo stacks, which is good, regardless of whether you're getting crits or not. It's extra damage, which, you know, never hurts, and it also applies to your uppercuts, so you can be like punch, 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 and then your uppercuts are super strong. It's a good combo. Oh, I see you. Get the fuck out of here. That's the loot. Here's the electric loot. I think they're loots. Maybe somebody who knows more about instruments can correct me. You should not be attacking people with these, unless you're hadical, and then you're just using them like a club. So, yeah, maybe you should just have a club. Although it's also a bazooka in her case, and if it was any of that in this game, it might be decent, but these just kind of are ass. They shoot a note. It moves slow, it doesn't go very far, it doesn't do a lot of damage. I don't know what the point is. Again, like I was saying with Bard, definitely the low point here. I know y'all are seeing some of these weird looking ones, but we'll get to those. Those are the fabled weapons. The sword. I like the sword. This is the knight's weapon. Great sword. It's good. I would take this on almost any class. It's the epitome of solid. It's definitely the best part of the knight's kit. It's the default weapon. Like I said, the game was probably designed around it, so it just makes sense. It's good in a whole bunch of situations. Speaking of which, I gotta get back into Gunfire, which is a nice example IMO. I've heard good things about Gunfire. Apparently no type of axe is good in this game. Yeah, it's a shame. Because I'd be compelled to use them in most games, but not this one. But yeah, great sword. Like I said, basically the picture under solid in the dictionary. It'll never steer you wrong. You can do just about anything with this. You can fight bosses, you can clear mobs, you can get to the farthest reaches of the map. I mean, you can't cheese with it, but a wand of blasting. That's the mage's weapon. I don't really like using it personally. I think it's better than this, like objectively, but like you might put it in low okay, but I just don't enjoy having it, and I won't pick it if I see it. Like if I see it in a curio shop, if I see it in Contrarian, I'll just reroll. So that's points against it for sure. Like if I never want it, it's got to be kind of ass. This is the one that hits at a distance and sour spots really close, and also has crap for knockback. So like you really got, like, there's pressure on you to kill things that move towards you before they get in range of you, because then like you have to, you know, jump around the screen to get away from them, and there's probably other enemies around there, so that's easier said than done. I don't know why the pirate ship is a photo here, but I assume this is supposed to be the cannon. I'm gonna put this in Oge tentatively for a lot of the reasons that I mentioned during the class descriptions. The cannon is actually, maybe I should put this in unfun, because this is another one that I don't really pick if I have the option. Like if I see this in the wild, I don't really go for it, because in most situations it's not fun to work around the limitations of this thing. If you're playing a pirate, it's kind of got boxer syndrome, where it's pretty well tied to the class. It's not as direct as the boxer, but it just doesn't feel right using a cannon with other classes. It doesn't, like, it feels like you're not getting the full experience. I think the only exception you can make for this is with Ivy Canopy. If you have that talent, you could probably do some really interesting shit with the cannon because of the splash damage. Like, you're guaranteed to hit everything on screen with fungal burst, maybe multiple times before the canopy runs out. So like this could potentially have even better burst potential than the Ranger, and just be like, buy entire room. But I can't in good conscience rate this thing any higher, because again, like the wand, if I see this thing in the wild, I'm skipping it or I'm re-rolling it. I don't like, I odds are I don't want it more than whatever weapon I've already got, unless I started with crap, and this is like my last option. Like I've already re-rolled that spot as many times as I can. Hello, Pochard. You go up here, because that's how good you are. Pochard is like the great sword, except you sacrifice a little bit of arc and get four-way directional slashes. That's basically the only difference. You can kind of do like a bootleg spin kick with it if you aim it down, because it does pogo you. It can be difficult to time, because depending on the enemy, you might descend faster than you get your cooldown. So obviously don't rely on that, but it's funny that it's like the only one that can do that now, when that was sort of just a feature in Rogue Legacy 1. The like pogo stab is now relegated to the Pochard, and it's really good. It's like being able to hit in all four directions is super awesome. It's the sickest. You get dash crits, so you can crit anytime. My favorite thing to do is dash under somebody and swing up and just like scrape them with my crit hitbox as I go by. Like, see ya! It looks fucking silly, but it's really effective. And I love it. And I love the Pochard. So up it goes. I have sort of mixed feelings about the foil. This is the duelist's weapon, because like I said, it's really fast, maybe faster than I can even handle. But I don't really want to rate it low, because it's, even if you're not hitting like as fast as you possibly can. It's good damage output. And here's the thing, there are ways to get combo on other weapons. There's a relic that gives combo. And this is one of the only weapons that I would say actually uses it well, other than the boxing gloves. Because you can hit so fucking fast with this thing, and you're going to be doing it over and over because it doesn't do great single hit damage. But then it's going to start, like, ramping up. So there are definitely situations where I could see myself picking this thing, especially over the lower half of the tier list. If I had a boxing belt, I might actually take it over some of these higher options. Not over fucking dual daggers, because it does everything better than anything else. But, yeah, it definitely has applications. I'm a little biased against it for the damage output alone, just because I don't get, like I said, I don't get much out of it consistently. But you're not screwed if you find this in a curio shop. You're definitely not screwed. Or if you roll this and like everybody's using it. I don't even know if that's possible. If everyone can have the same weapon. That'd be really funny. There's like, we are the musketeers! Katana, very good. Solid. At least solid. Maybe higher. That's obviously the Ronin's weapon. Hits at a crazy range. Doesn't need to crit to do good damage, but does have really good crits. Keeps shit at bay. It's like, it's what the Wand of Blasting wants to be, which is a weird fucking statement, but it will see somebody coming and head them off before they get anywhere near you. Like, it has good knockback, it has way better damage, it has better range. Its sour spot isn't that bad. It's just a better Wand of Blasting. It's I honestly, like, if you put those in front of me on any class with any talent, I would pick the katana every time. If I had a choice between those two weapons, it would always be the katana. Because they're strict, they do such similar things, but one is just so much better. This is the astrologer's weapon. It sucks. It is the reason I hate astrologer, and the reason I rated it so low. The scepter is fucking weird. It doesn't do good damage. It's a close range weapon, and it pulls enemies in. So they're right on top of you, and they're not dying. Who came up with this? What was the point? Like, okay, yeah, you can walk away from the black hole, but for fuck's sake, you put it right in front of your face. And then for the whole recovery animation, you're just standing there with an enemy in your face, getting closer and closer, and need I remind you, not dying because the damage is ass. What is the point? I don't get it. Nobody recharges mana fast enough to make this worth it. Even a mage with the scepter does not recharge mana fast enough that they can just run back and spam spells until something dies. It's not consistent. And it doesn't work in any other situation, even theoretically. So, like, I don't know. It's like the bottom of the list. Easily. Axe, not very good. I really don't like being relegated to ground attacks. And the thing is that I didn't mention when I was talking about Barbarian, the jumping and grounded swings are very different. The jumping swing is like a spin. It's, you just like rotate constantly. You're doing a lot of multi-hits. There's a weird quality to your audio that happened a bit ago, like your audio cable isn't quite attached. So, oh shit. Is it wobbly? Maybe it got screwed up. Like, maybe I should monitor. Hold up. Okay, this might double the auto a little bit, so bear with me. Matter of fact, you might want to turn it down a little. I just need to see if I can hear myself. Sounds all right to me. Let me just make sure everything's plugged in back here as far as I can go. Maybe I already fixed it. I don't know. Yeah, it's still blown out. I don't know what's up with that. It was like that last time. It's annoying me. It's not supposed to be that way. Okay, back to... Nope, wait. That's the one we want. I almost turned myself off. Oopsie. Yeah, I'm not sure what it was or if it's still doing it, but If it continues to be an issue, I guess let me know in the chat and I'll mess with it again. It might be a filter issue. Randomly changed, I think it's better now. Okay. Yeah, let me know if it happens again then. So axe, like I said, I didn't mention when I was talking about barbarian, but the swing animations and speed are very different on the ground and in the air. In the air, you do like a super spinny ya, just over and over, and you do crits when you dash during that. So like, I don't know, it's hard to hit shit without getting hit in return, which is really annoying, and it doesn't do very good damage as a return, so like it doesn't feel worth it, which means I end up spending like 80% of my time trying to smack things from the ground, which is annoying because a lot of enemies fly in this game, so they'll just hang out outside my range. And to top it off, the grounded swing is very, very slow. It's like you got a whole fucking wind up. It does great damage and it has a pretty impressive arc, but not impressive enough to like knock shit out from feet away, which just lets it down in a lot of ways to me. I wanted to give this thing a chance. I played Barbarian during the during early access and was like, hell yeah, we have an axe now. And then I think even by the end of that play session, I was like, I'm not so sure about this thing. It made me very sad because I like axes. I mean, look at it. It's even called a Labrys, which is one of the sickest axes out there. But they didn't do it justice in this game. I am disappointed. Gun is bad. It's just trashed here. I don't even know what to say about it. I mean, you might be able to make a case for unfun. That's what we're fighting for scraps now. With just like maybe I could make my way to unfun with a cogent enough argument. But yeah, it's not as bad as the scepter. Actually, it's probably not as bad as any of this stuff, but oof. But yeah, I still don't like the gun very much. It fires very quickly, and it does do pretty solid damage if you can get a bead on your target. But one thing I forgot to mention is it's one of those ones that uses the manual aim thing. It's like omnidirectional. It's almost like twin stick aiming. And I just miss a lot using that. So like, unless it does a ton of damage or has a really wide hitbox, it's hard for me to get over that, and the gun has neither. So not wild about it. Definitely would not pick it if I saw it out and about. I don't know about the bow. I don't think I can rate the bow very highly either. The bow's gimmick is if you can time it, you can time your release just right to get a crit, but it doesn't do enough damage to make it worth it. So again, it's a knight situation where the shield block is like, it does stuff that other things do better, and it has a harsher penalty. And it engages more of your brain, so you can't do multiple things at once with it. It's, yeah, it's let down a little hard by its limitations. I think this could be better with some tweaking. I could see bumping it up as far as, okay, depending on if they patch the damage or make the timing a little more generous. Because you can get some pretty solid hits out of this thing, especially, like I said, if you're on Ranger and you have the Ivy Canopy and you're applying Fungal Burst every time you hit something. Because then you don't have to aim, you just thump, 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 and everything in the room is exploding. So that's cool. But it's like the one situation where I want the bow, and even then, as we've discussed, I might want the cannon more in that situation. So it's never great when you're outclassed by something in the unfun tier. Though it is better than the ballista, on the other hand, which is the fabled weapon version. And I'm going out of order. I was going to save these for last, but I fucking hate the ballista. It's so ass. So you know how the Labrys technically has an aerial attack that's just not that great and doesn't see a lot of use? The hand ballista does not have an aerial attack. You have to be on the ground to use it. and the startup is longer than with the bow before you can actually fire the damn thing, and it still has all the issues of manual aiming, and I don't remember exactly how the crits work, but I think you have to time it, and you probably have to wait longer than with the bow. It's bad. It's so bad. You're gonna miss half the time. It wants you to do Dragonlance levels of DPS, but nobody has the coordination for that. Not unless you're playing on keyboard and mouse. This might be better on keyboard and mouse. I don't know. A lot of this tier list might be different on key mouse, but I don't play that way, so I'm biased against anything that requires that. I play shooters on keyboard and mouse. I love it. I don't play my fucking platformers on it though. That's a little outside of my wheelhouse. So like something that only works under those circumstances is not gonna do much for me. I think it might actually be worse than the Scepter, to be honest. I really don't like the hand ballista. All right, let's finish off the normal weapons. Frying pan, very good, very, very good. I like frying pan. This almost goes OP. I don't know. Do I want to put this in OP? I really like the frying pan. I like the idea of, like, you do have to time it a little bit. It's not free, but I like the idea of being able to deflect as many projectiles as you want, because enemies do throw a lot of them at you in this game. Like, it's kind of a thing. I was like, that aspect of it definitely leans more on the Metroid than on the Vania, which is sort of annoying to me because I don't like dodging bullets. I like dodging attacks, but like, you know, whatever. But with the frying pan, instead of dodging them, you can just throw them back and then get really good damage off of it because you get a crit for free every time you do it. It also makes a really satisfying clunk sound every single time. So all the hit sounds are really satisfying on the frying pan. It's like, wah! When you smack somebody, it goes dunk every time you hit a projectile. It's fucking awesome. Ear candy for sure. Dragonlance is this higher or lower? I think I'm actually going to put this... No, I don't know. This whole thing is looking like exactly like my class tier list, which makes me sad because I thought there was going to be more variance. The talents are definitely going to be swingier. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's definitely solid. I don't know if it's OP levels. Because again, it's a little cumbersome to use. It's pretty slow. And the thing that I didn't mention while I was talking about Dragonlancer is that the Charge Lance has a lot of weird recovery, especially in the air. So this is another one that's best on the ground, but it's passable in the air, which is why it doesn't get dragged down to the fucking nether tiers. Especially since you can charge it and then it just does the same thing air or ground. It's, you know, crit. But you can also spam it on the ground to get like weirdly good DPS for like not having any crits. So you just, and also it's another one that makes a satisfying sound. So what's annoying about KBM is the mouse end is incredible and the KB end is awful for many gaming purposes. Yeah, for real. Or it's like backwards. There are a few where I feel like it's the opposite of that, but it's never one. It's almost never one is good and the other is great, or one or both are perfect or whatever. It feels like there's always a trade-off, which is acceptable in some games. Like I can deal with it in a shooter because otherwise I can't hit anything. But yeah, I have to fiddle with my controls a lot, even in shooters. It's by no means a solved equation. But yeah, in a game like this, there's no way. It would take me years to get used to it, and by then I don't want to play the game anymore. So what's the point? All right, now we've got the fabled weapons. These are secret unlocks that you can either get by doing a thing in a store to unlock them on the inheritance menu, or you can just find them in a curio shop at any point in the game. So you could just be like, yo, what the fuck is this? Whose weapon is that? In your first fucking castle. And most of them are kind of booty. We already talked about one, the hand ballista, which is easily the worst of the pack. Let's see, maybe I go up from there. I honestly, I think Hephaestus' hammer is actually worse than the Lavris, and that might be contentious. All it does is the spin from the fucking aerial attack, where you just rotate and put out like rapid hitboxes. It does it on the air, on the ground, doesn't matter. But you can jump and move around and dash while you're doing it, so you could just never stop spinning if you want. Which is funny, but I don't know about good, because it does aerial Labrys damage all the time. That's the only kind of damage it does. So it's really underpowered for being a fucking hammer, especially for being Hephaestus' hammer. Like, I feel like you're doing the big guy a disservice with this mechanic. Spin to win in completely the wrong genre. I mean, it might even work in this genre if the damage wasn't so crap. Spin to lose, yeah. It's just, I feel like you could tweak the numbers on these and make them a whole lot better just through that. Although, personally, I don't know. I didn't really come to Giant Axe to do multi-hits in the air and try and space shit. I did it to Mionga and smash things in one go. Which is why I spend most of my time attacking from the ground, because that's what I want out of an axe. I want it to do really strong single damage and have a little bit of cooldown. I just would like to also do that in the air, please. So, for many of the same reasons that I dislike the axe, I also dislike the hammer, but more so because you can't turn it off. Pizza is the knight's fabled weapon, and no, I have no idea why. You go from a sword, which makes perfect sense, you swing it, it hurts people, to a pizza, which works like a delayed boomerang. You throw the pizza, it spins in the air, and then it comes back to you after a delay, and does crits on the return. This is bad. This is not good. It's at the very least the bottom of unfun tier, maybe lower. I feel like there's probably some tech that I don't know using it. You can do some funny shit because you can spin kick off of your own pizza. But yeah, the game has a chef in it, and the pizza is a night weapon. I don't get it either. But yeah, it's ass. The only time you'll see somebody using this in a threatening way is when you fight one of the last bosses. And that's kind of a spoiler, sorry. But that's it. Anytime you're using it, it sucks. It doesn't go very far. It takes too long to return. You don't get crits until it returns. You have to space it so that an enemy is in the path of the thing as it's returning. And I think I don't remember. I think it actually chunks if it hits an enemy while it's going out. So yeah, it's not great. And the damage would have to be like fucking Dragonlance levels to make up for any of that, and it's more like Scepter levels, if anything. So no, absolutely not. Do not take the pizza. Pizza is not for attacking, it is for eating. These are the rocket gloves. They are the upgraded boxing gloves, and I say upgraded with massive air quotes because I don't really like these things either. Although this might be, on fun might be a little harsh. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna bump it up to Olge. They're not that bad. They're definitely not the worst of the bunch when it comes to fabled weapons, but they're tricky to use because they have the wand of blasting issue where they pop off at like long range and become basically unusable in close range, except the issue with them this time is not that they do bad knockback, it's that they do self damage. Every time the gloves explode, if you're in range, you take the damage, which is crap. It's the only weapon that does this. And unlike in Warframe, I don't want it to be that way ever again. I loved it in Warframe because it was better than being staggered and losing my DPS. Also, I could just fucking jump and not get hit, idiots. But in this game, it's really hard to avoid blowing yourself up with these things. It's a massive liability. A lot of these weapons, a lot of stuff in this game, like I said, is geared towards avoiding damage entirely. This is a chance to take damage when nobody's attacking you. It's weird, but I don't want to rate it too low because it does really good damage at that far range. And there are situations where you can guarantee that enemies are at the optimal distance, like especially in boss fights. So you can get really good results out of this thing. I just definitely wouldn't recommend it over most of this other stuff. So I think bottom of okay is an acceptable place. It's got a lot of drawbacks, but it does have a fair bit of potential. It's yeah, it's pretty swingy. It's like boxing. The spoons, the bag of spoons is the chef's fabled secondary, and it sucks. You throw the spoon, it arcs, it bounces off of one surface, maybe two, and doesn't crit until it has bounced. You can't really aim the bounce, though. You kind of just throw it straight forward. So it doesn't use the manual aiming. This is the only weapon that I think would actually be better if it used manual aiming, because you don't have to aim at the enemy. You have to aim at, like, the wall where it will bounce off and hit the enemy. That's the idea, is that it's supposed to ricochet, but you can't control it. You throw it in a straight arc. So, like, what if you're in a hallway that just doesn't have the right angle? You just don't get crits, and then your damage is poopy. It's not worth. I would almost put this in rip, but there's probably some god out there that can make it work. So, allowing for potential. Bounce it off a floor or ceiling at them, that'd make more sense. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. That's the idea, but you can't control the arc. It's a static arc, which makes it really, really hard to get the right angle for the bounce. So you try to go for crits and you just end up missing. It's the worst damage possible. None. So I could rate this a lot lower if I were feeling particularly vicious, but I would probably rather the trade-off. I would probably rather gamble on the bounce angles than use most of these other weapons, with the possible exception of the bow. I might be able to switch the positions of these two. Yeah, actually, that sounds better. That's like the high end of a rip, and this is the low end of unfun. Yeah, that makes more sense to me. So, okay. I decided not to have mercy on the spoons. They're not good. They're so annoying to use. They're beyond unfun. They're counterproductive. And finally, we have Charon's Scythe, which is one of my favorite weapons. You know what? This one's for me. I'm gonna put this in OP. I don't know that it necessarily deserves that, but Charon's Scythe is really, really interesting to me. Here's what it does. The way you attack with it is you dash forward. Like, there's a dash built into its attack animation. And it slashes in a huge vertical arc. So it hits above and below you and a little bit in front of you, but not much. So you're kind of doing the drive-by thing that I do with the Fauchard, but like, it's intended. Like, that's exactly how you're supposed to use the scythe. You come at people from like perpendicular, and you kill them before they get in range. It does 2 hits. The first one crits high health enemies, and the second one crits low health enemies. So on basic enemies that take a little more than 1 hit to kill, this becomes a one-shot, because you just shot, and you get crits on both of them, and they're fucking dead. So the damage output is really, really good, especially when you're exploring the castle. And against a lot of bosses, you can kind of just spam it over their head because of how their attack patterns work, and get good DPS anyway, even though you're missing out on some crits. So the damage is really, really good. The only drawback to this thing is that it moves you. It forcibly moves you across the screen, and it's the only weapon that does that. So there is a learning curve. But once you master it, you get so much return on the investment that it's honestly worth it to me. Like, I take the scythe so fucking often. I have been known to see the scythe and trade my dual daggers for it. I was just like, give me the scythe. It's so pretty. Mostly for the edge factor, but it's also just really fucking good. So there's exactly one fabled weapon that's better than the default. Yeah, they've really dropped the ball on the fabled weapons in my view. I'm hoping that some of them either get tweaked or buffed substantially, because yeah. The only ones that I can make a case for are the gloves and obviously the scythe. The rest of them I would leave at the curio shop anytime I see them. Because consistency is important in this game, and a lot of the fabled weapons are just weirdly inconsistent. Sometimes not even for a good reason. Like, I don't understand why Hephaestus Hammer does so little damage. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand any of the mechanics involving Hephaestus Hammer. I think it'd be really interesting if this was one of the weapons that moved you around the screen because the momentum of swinging it, like, it's not built for your size, and so you kind of go with it every time you swing it, but then it does fucking nutso damage. So the only time you risk colliding with somebody is if they can survive an attack from this thing. That would be cool. But they gave that to the Scythe instead, so the Scythe is my number one. So yeah, that's the weapons. Not a lot of variants, mostly where the default classes ended up. Man, these tier list discussions take longer than I thought. I could get a lot of content out of this if I just did stuff like this a lot. Do you think I could have gotten away with labeling my category Rogue Legacy 2 if I'm just game? No, that would be mean. That's like not tagging your stream as a rerun, which is apparently a feature in the stream info default box now. You can tag your stream as a rerun to let viewers know your stream was previously recorded. It says failure to label reruns leads to viewer confusion, which damages trust. Yeah, you would know a lot about that, wouldn't you, Twitch? The damaging trust part. Probably fucking experts at that by now. Okay, so there's classes and weapons. We got bosses, spells, and relics. Relics are gonna take forever. I don't know if I have time for relics. I could do spells though, or if anybody else has requests, feel free to shoot them my way. Still haven't heard any requests in chat, but I am eagerly awaiting if anyone would like to hear my opinion on something. And like I said, you can link it while I'm in the middle of a tier list, because, again, these take a while. I'm just finding this out. Oh, I could just interrupt one. Alright, how fast can we go through the spells? This is the Circling Flames one that's in every Castlevania. It's okay. I'm not gonna fuck with the tier names. They're fine. It's pretty good DPS. It's the only thing that you can, like, use in tandem with your weapon strikes, depending on the class. So that's cool. So you can just put it on and have extra DPS while you're attacking. It doesn't have a lot of utility outside of that, though, which is a big deal for spells, because a lot of these are get-out-of-jail-free cards. Or they do, like, super cool damage. Free Strike is a lot better than Winter Shout, because it's just like a cone out in front of you. It applies to one enemy. It's usually the enemy you're fighting, and then you get the crit for freezing them. So, solid. The only thing holding it back is it doesn't really work on bosses, because when you freeze the boss, it unfreezes almost before you can attack them again. Sometimes definitely before you can attack them again, depending on the weapon you're using. Tesla Arc is weird. I don't like it. It's personal bias somewhat, but like it throws like a damage field against the nearest wall. But what if an enemy isn't standing near a wall or even a floor? Then you kind of just can't hit them with it. And all it does is damage. Again, no utility. Wind Wall, I would not have rated this very highly before today's session, but this fucking rescued my ass from a Lamech Prime fight. I just spammed it in between like all of my, like every time he did an attack that put out projectiles, I just threw it across the screen and he couldn't hurt me. So we got to give props for that. Like, destroys any level of projectile, even the big ones. Very strong. Not very damaging, but that's not what you use it for. You use it when you see a wall of projectiles coming at you, you're like, I won't survive that. Whoosh. I think I just won't experience that then. This is like a worse version. I forget what it's called, but it just like throws a projectile that collides with other projectiles and then nullifies them. It's like Shockwave or something. I'm not super into it. Actually, it's probably D. I don't know. Or maybe fire deserves to be higher. Yeah, I'll put that higher. There. That's what C tier looks like, this thing. Fungal Burst is good. Has a really wide spread. Launches multiple projectiles so it can hit multiple enemies. And applies Fungal Burst, which is a really good, like, single hit dot. There's just boom, and everything explodes with spores. This is, you just shoot a fire stream. It's not very powerful. You can only crit on the back end of it if you like hold it down until you're out of MP, and then you're out of MP. So why did you do that? I like the magma chucker. I don't remember all of these by name exactly, but there's magma in this one somewhere. This is interesting. It does a lot of damage as it's descending. I wouldn't call it consistent, but it has its uses, especially because of the reach of the projectiles and the way they arc. Like, it goes through walls, it has 3 projectiles that all hit in different trajectories, and it arcs. So there's a lot of funky shit you can do with this that you can't do with any other spell. You just have to, like... Your toolkit has to have some other stuff that you normally don't have to rely on. Like your talent or weapon for to make up for it. Like there's it has utility, but it's a weird utility. Magma's very weird. I fucking love this one. This is just a massive AoE. It procs after like a second, and then it hits everybody with fucking every dot status at once. I think, what does it hit? It does freeze, burn, and spore burst, I think, are the 3 that it does to anyone it hits, and it's a really wide radius. Goes through walls, does great damage. This is delete this room. I do not want to experience this room. I'm going to jump into the middle of it and prison burst. Everything's dead. So good. Love it. White Star. Kind of a similar thing, except it doesn't apply status effects. It just explodes and deals hella damage. It crits every time it exists. And it can hit you, but unlike the gloves, it is much easier to get out of the way at this one because it goes through walls and it takes a little while to go off. So you can throw it and you have plenty of time to get out of the way. You can usually just throw it at something and then leave the screen and it'll blow up and be gone because most things can't survive one shot from the White Star. So you could just be like, I have queued you for death. And I will see you later. I'm going to go handle the other guys in this room. All right. Job done. Thundercloud. I'm kind of torn on this one. This can be really good for bosses, but otherwise it's a little tricky to hit. Its hitbox is mostly vertical, as you might expect from a cloud of lightning. It applies vulnerability, which is good. It's very helpful, especially when you're in, burst phase. Like I said, good against bosses. A little bit situational against enemies, though. But it does hit very far over your head, which can be useful for hitting enemies that are out of reach of your weapon. I think even the greatsword doesn't go as high up as this thing. So if an enemy's like fucking around out of your range, then you can just jump up and zoom and probably get some good damage on it. But it really shines when you're using the vulnerability to get some extra DPS in. I used to like this thing. It's like a spectral fireball or something. It's a version of the fireball that goes through walls, and it also flies straight ahead instead of arcing slightly. So the going through walls is good, but it's not as good as other things that go through walls. Like, all it does is shoot a fireball, and it does do flame damage, so like it's not useless. I find myself wanting other spells way more than this one. It's just kind of basic. I wouldn't call it bad. C tier is like usable, but you would probably prefer to have any of these other things. Or else there are situations where these are much more preferable. Gravity Beam is quite good. It also nullifies projectiles, but it does a shit ton of damage. The trade-off being it's very slow. But its reach extends beyond the edge of the screen. So, like, if you know that something exists on your fucking x-axis, then you can just pop this and get rid of it. It's muy powerful. I've had a weird issue with the gravity beam where it fires and I can see it firing and it hasn't done a damage tick yet, but it's clearly there, like you can see it, and yet a projectile hits me and kills me because the hitbox that gets rid of them didn't come out quite fast enough. It was like off by a frame. So like it's a little hard to use this as a panic button, but if you know the enemy patterns and you know when they're going to be launching projectiles at you, you can kind of prep it in advance and just, you know, skip that whole phase. Especially against bosses. Very, very good against bosses. It turns what would be a dodge phase of the fight into a DPS phase of the fight, which is hella. That'll get you mad points. Poison Bomb is like right in the middle of B and C. I don't like poison. It doesn't do enough damage. But this bomb does like an AoE that lingers in the air, which can be useful for hitting stuff out of reach. And there's a slight arc in the projectile. I don't know. I just don't think I can rate it any higher than C, even with all that, because it just doesn't do very good damage. And yeah, it has no other utility. It doesn't block projectiles. It doesn't arc. It doesn't go through walls. It sort of arcs. It's not a lot. It's mostly straightforward. The standard fireball arcs a little more than that and also does fire damage, which is the better of the two dots to me. So I will rate that one higher. And I don't like the billiard ball because I can't hit anything with it. That's another one that has to bounce off of walls. And it does have manual aiming, but I still can't hit anything with it because I suck. So billiard ball is indeed because I suck with it. That is the most openly biased I'm going to be about any of these tier placements. But yeah, fuck you, billiard ball. You annoy me. I get killed so many times trying to hook the shot just right. It bounces multiple times and it's supposed to do more damage for each time it bounces, but me trying to set up those shots is usually what gets me killed. It's a spell that, when cast, gets me killed. Fuck that. I don't like you. Okay, how many... Wait. Oh no. Oh no, homie ran into the same problem I did. It's an empty tier list. No, homie. This guy had the same problem as me. He probably uploaded a bunch of nice looking images and then they just didn't fucking show up. Alright, so we're not doing a bosses tier list. The only other thing is relics, and that might take a while because, as you can see, there's a lot. A lot more than that other stuff. I could do it. I could just like super lightning around it. Unless, again, anybody has requests. Seems like chat's kind of winding down a bit, though. So I assume either the just chatting thing was not to my audience's taste, or everybody's got me on in the background and is using me to fall asleep, because for some reason people insist that my voice is soothing. I can't imagine that's the case currently, because for some reason my audio is fucked up and sounds awful. But I don't know. I've been wrong before. But if anybody is there, now is your last chance to recommend me a tier list to do, so you can see my opinions. It's a good voice, but no idea. Fair enough. Alright, let's see how far into this I can get before I get bored. Some of these relics should not be here. Like, some of these are just broken versions of other relics, and those don't do anything. I don't know why they're here. Alright, once again, I'm not going to fuck with the tiers, because that'll save some time. Achilles' Shield gives you a damage bonus when you are high in health. I like this in this game, because you're trying not to get hit. So, it is applicable in many situations. And it's like a flat 10 to 20%, I think, depending on if you double it or not. Aite's Sword. This is interesting. It's obviously not going to get you out of a tricky situation because of the way it works, but it gives you such an absurd advantage that it actually can be useful, even if it breaks after like 3 or 4 rooms. It gives you a 150% damage bonus, but breaks as soon as you get hit, and then stops giving you that bonus. So it's really swingy, but that damage bonus is nothing to sneeze at. That's like 3 times better than most other damage bonuses in the game. The only exception being the Serrated Handles Bargain, which gives a 100% bonus to damage dealt and taken, and never breaks. So this allows you to make a mistake and still keep your damage bonus, but you don't have a lot of mistakes to make. And there's no way to get rid of it. Like, you're stuck with the damage vulnerability. But there's a lot of ways to get around that. And again, it's a game where you're trying really hard not to get hit, not where you're trying to mitigate damage. It's not like an RPG where you know they're going to swing on you. And even so, I've heard some people get through an entire RPG without taking damage, which I cannot fathom. But whatever. If you manage it, put that notch on your belt. That's wicked, bro. Gnawed Bone. I like this one. I don't know if I like it enough to rate it very highly. But when you have max health, health pickups give you more max health. Cool. It comes in handy less often than you'd think. As much as the game is about not getting hit, it's rare to come upon a Gnawed Bone when you still have full health, and rarer still to keep having full health until you reach a health pickup. It becomes much better on a class like Chef that can heal itself like all the fucking time. In that case, you can stack health very quickly and become even more unkillable than you were before. But it's not great utility on every class. It's a little class dependent, so I can't rate it super high. I really don't like Amaterasu's Son. It applies burn damage to all your attacks, which sounds good, especially since there are weapons that do that and classes that do that, and I gave them good ratings before. The problem is it extends burn on anything that already has it, and as we've discussed, burn crits on its last few ticks, so you don't want to extend it. So it doesn't synergize with anything else that deals burn, which is really fucking annoying because it's not that hard to get a hold of burn. You might have it on your spell, you might have it on your weapon, you might get it from any number of sources while you're going through an area, and as soon as any of that happens, you don't want Amaterasu's Son, which is a weird place to be for any relic. Like, having other cool shit makes it not worth getting. I could honestly rate it even lower than this, but like, it is good if you have no sources of burn. I would recommend it. Though I would say it's a little overpriced. I think it's like 50 resolve, which is sort of stupid. Like, all it does is give you burn. That's not worth 50. That's worth like 30 at most. Red Sand Hourglass, very, very good. I would take this in almost any situation. It's just free damage. It's free damage after like 6 seconds. You don't need to do anything. It just, every 6 seconds, you are primed with bonus damage. Who could possibly shake their head at that? Soul Tether is the same but better because it does damage to every enemy in the vicinity. It is not an AoE, it chains damage. And one thing I didn't understand about Soul Tether at first is, because I don't know if it's described all that well, but the bonus damage it deals is dealt to the enemy you're attacking as well as the enemies around it. So even if you're in, like, say, a boss fight, you're still getting bonus damage. So that's what puts it really high up, is like there's basically no situation where Soul Tether is bad. There are just certain situations where it's much, much better. But, like, depending on your build, it can do enough damage to, like, one-shot enemies that aren't even on screen. And it can aggro things if it doesn't kill them, but it can also kill them before they aggro. So, like, I'll take that trade. Hermes Boots make you immune to spikes, which is fucking awesome. I'm going to rate that really high for convenience, if nothing else. I may need to look some of these up because I recognize the image, but I might get it confused for something else. Corrupting reagent gives you fart gas that poisons. Not that good. It's like the poison bomb, but it's localized to where you are, and applies on dash instead of being a bomb that you can throw, which makes it worse in my opinion. Um, Pandora's Gift. I like Pandora's Gift. I think I'm gonna tentatively rate all of the cursed relics very highly, because I mean I take them every time, but that might just be a gambling addiction, to be honest. But all of these three relics are all cursed, so while you're holding them, you will die in one hit. But after fulfilling certain conditions, the curse is lifted, and then you get a bonus that's usually really good. So with Pandora's Box and Charon's Trial, the condition is kill count. You have to kill a certain number of enemies without getting hit. And then for Pandora's Box, you get bonus resolve. And for Charon's Trial, you get bonus resources like gold, or maybe red ether. I don't know. You get a bunch of stuff. This is alright. This is great. This is free resolve. It's a relic that gives you resolve instead of taking it, which is fucking incredible. I will take Pandora's Box every time it's available. Demeter's Gift is different. The only condition on this one is that you find a health or mana pickup. And it doesn't matter when you find it. It can be in the same room as the relic. I don't think that can happen, because I don't think there are any relic rooms with breakable objects. But as soon as you find one, it purifies and it gives you max health. So you can actually set it up so that the one hit and you die item is like right next to the thing that purifies it, and there's no chance of getting hit by anything in between them. So that's obviously high tier, because there's basically no drawback. You just get free max health in that case. You just have to play it a little smart. War Drum, very good. Lots and lots of damage, especially as you get farther into the game and you can use more and more relics on one character. War Drum, bonus damage for every unique relic you're carrying. Fucking hella. It's a free like 7%, which is, or like 8%, something like that, which is as good as the Blessing of Strength, which is one of these crosses I'm not going to rate because you can't actually pick these. But yeah, it starts off that good and only gets better. Fucking nutso. Freon's Gift. Heal when you open treasure chests. I don't think I need to explain how good that is, but just in case. There are treasure chests everywhere. And there's not a lot of healing in this game. So you go from like fighting for scraps to basically unkillable with Freon's Gift. This one wakes me out, and also it's not as good as it sounds. It applies Spore Burst, but it doesn't apply it on hit. It applies it on kill. So as soon as you kill something, it does the Spore Burst explosion, which is a little bit harder to chain. I don't think I'm going to get through this whole thing without having to look some of these up, because I would definitely know them. But it's like I'm depending a lot on being given the description every time I come across them. Okay, I'm just working off the ones that I remember. Icarus Wings are fun. I wouldn't call them useful, but they are very fun. They allow you to fly, but they make you stupid vulnerable to damage. You get like 175% damage increase with these things or something. Maybe it's not that crazy. I don't know. It's a lot. The goal with Icarus Wings is to get the achievement for flying all the way to the sun. That's it. That's your goal. You can get into places you shouldn't be early, and that's about all you want this thing for. It's honestly not that good for dodging stuff, because flying is not much better than jumping and air dashing. It's slower for one, and you don't really need to curve around things. You just need to get out of their axis very quickly, which dashing is much better for. So it doesn't give you as much utility as you'd think. Flying sounds busted until you see Rogue Legacy 2's idea of flying, and then it's like, oh, okay. That's fine. Lachese's Measure gives you health back every time you kill an enemy. Every time you kill an enemy with a crit, you get health back. Again, source of health in a game that is very stingy with it. Consistent source of health that you can get constantly, every room. Freon's Gifts and Lachese's Measure, you are unkillable. Add Soul Tether and you win the game. Oh, Rage Tincture. I never take this. It's probably better than I give it credit for, but I'm gonna rank it in D because I just never want it. It only procs when you get hit. So you can guess how I feel about that. Why are you getting hit? It gives you bonus damage while you're invuln, while you're in your invuln frames after getting hit. Why are you even seeing those? You should not be getting hit. I would much prefer a damage bonus that requires you to not get hit, like, say, the Serrated Handles Bargain or Itis Sword, both of which are like 4 times better than this damage bonus. I took it off again. I was like, fuck you. You don't even get to be on here. This one, I know what this does. I forget what it's called, though. This is you die and get a gold bonus, which is it's a really shitty gold bonus, so it's never worth it. The only time I would use this is if I see it in a castle that I'm about to finish, and I just go and clear out the whole castle and, like, open up the last boss, but I want to do some stuff in the castle still, or, like, I want to come back with another character. I would only use this if I deliberately want to kill my character and there's nothing left in the map that will kill them. So, very, very rarely. Like, exploring the whole castle and not wanting to take your character to endgame is such a niche situation, and it's the only one where I'd use this, because the gold bonus is not worth it otherwise. It's like 30% of your current gold. It's not good. I could make that in, like, half of a section of the castle. I could just go and fight stuff and get that much gold, and then still have a character. And, you know, God forbid you have a character you like even a little bit, because then it's like, why? Why would I bother? I could roll some absolute crap, and then none of that money would matter. Fated Die is... I don't know. I don't want to rate this too low, because its effect is instantly kill an enemy, which is pretty fucking wicked. But it charges on kill, unlike the Red Sand Hourglass and the Soul Tether, which just give you bonus damage after so many seconds. So you have to put in a little more effort to get a return on this, but you can also swing it so that the die is charged when you go to fight, like, a mini boss, and then you just delete that motherfucker. So it can definitely be useful for that. And in that case, it's better than these two, because bonus damage is nothing compared to one-shotting something that normally takes like 6 hits. Circuit Stinger. Somehow even worse than Amaterasu's Sun. Doesn't have any synergy issues, it just applies the shittier debuff. The shittier dots. It's poison on every strike. The only time I'd recommend this is in a combo with... There's another one on here, I think, a relic that does bonus damage to enemies that are afflicted by a status effect, but I don't remember which one it is. If you have that one, get this, but otherwise skip it. Hyperion's Ring, it's a free revive, but it does cost a lot of resolve and really doesn't give you anything but that free revive. And usually I find free revives to be kind of a trap, because anything that was difficult enough to kill you the first time is probably going to kill you again in the scramble as you're remembering that you had a second life and then trying to get back into the rhythm of the fight. But it is a second life, so it's hard to rate that poorly. You only get like half health back, but still, like, if you're on Barbarian, that's quite a few hits. Lamech's Whetstone is interesting. I don't know where to put this one. I don't know if it's bad, good. I will take it sometimes just because the effect sounds good, but I don't know what it applies to. It causes your attacks to apply Magic Break. I think it's only your crits, something like that. There is a limitation, but it applies Magic Break, which I don't fully understand. I don't know which enemy attacks count as magic, or if it's just all of them. But no, it can't be all of them. So I don't really know when this is useful, but I feel like it's gotta be. If I knew more about this, if I knew the numbers or the percentages, yeah, you know, I'm gonna put this in, we'll call it high C until I know more. You can take it. It's not a waste, but any of these other things are like known quantities that are really fucking good, so it's hard to rate it higher than any of those. Atropos Scissors makes your crits stronger. We love that in this house. Actually, we love that enough to put it in A, I think. No, do I want that higher than Ite's Sword? Maybe I want Ite's Sword in A. I want this in high B. Yeah, that makes more sense to me. I might even be tempted to push this higher. We'll leave it there for now. Raven's Ring is situational, but can be good. It gives you bonus damage the lower your resolve is. And the way resolve works is it's a measure of how many relics you can carry, and if you go below 100% resolve, you start losing max health. So if you go low enough, you only have 1 HP. So this is not like the infinite well that the War Drum is, where all it cares about is how many relics you have. This one demands that you sacrifice health to become stronger. So the War Drum and the Raven's Ring are essentially the same thing, but the Raven's Ring is a little weaker because it has a much more debilitating trade-off. Like the War Drum, you might just have enough resolve to carry 3 or 4 relics, and then you get a free damage boost, and there's no trade-off. The Raven's Ring does not kick in until you are sacrificing health. So, there's another one here, Heron's Ring, that does the same for magic, which is slightly worse, in my opinion. I'm biased against magic. It might be better than I give it credit for. I'm gonna have to start looking these up. Hold up. Relics. Okay, Ancestral Soul. I didn't really... Yeah, that's from an armor set, so I don't think I'm gonna rate that, because you can't pick that in the wild, so... Oh, I'll do the Black Root ones, though. Oh, shit, I gotta find where I was. So these are interesting. They're sort of relics, but you're always given a choice between these two. Whenever you see one of them, you see the other one. You get a heal, or you can take damage and get max health. So they're kind of inverse of each other. As I said, heals are rare, so this is automatically very high. I would say, actually, yeah, it might be A, because it's a really potent heal. This can save your bacon. And this just pushes Absurd Advantage even more absurd, because, like, max health is so fucking good. If you can get your health back after chunking from one of these, well, maybe it's not S tier. I don't know. It's harder to compare these. I think it's better than getting the heal in almost every situation. The only exception is when you literally will die from the damage, is when I would not take it. Even if you're one hit from death after taking the damage, you could get heals and then have more max health. And like, at some point in your skill tree, you're going to be healing to full when you enter a boss door. So you could grab this thing and then just go fight a boss, and you have bonus health, and you didn't pay anything for it. Yeah, I think high A is deserved. I don't know if S is quite where it should be, but it's close. All right, let me see if I recognize them. These are keys, so we're not going to rate those. And those are blessings, which, again, Zealot's Ring. What does that do? Spells cast while at max MP deal an additional 25% damage. Yeah, actually, that is pretty good. I've used the Zealot's Ring a couple times. I forgot what it looked like, but yeah. I think that's high B. I think it's a good place for that. You can get back to max MP pretty easily because you get MP back from every strike. So you can cast a spell, swing, cast a spell, swing, cast a spell, and then like all your magic is boosted by 25%. So that's cool. It's good synergy with the way I usually like to cast spells, which is situationally as circumstances demand it. So I usually have full MP, so I'm usually getting the benefit from this. Has synergy with Cosmic Insight in that all spells cast while mana is overcharged count as being cast at max MP. If cast at max MP, increases damage for Blaze Bellow and Flame Barrier as long as they are maintained. Damn, I'm learning shit. Okay, so Zealot's Ring has a lot of utility, actually. They were very smart about the way they implemented it. Like, if you cast something, until you uncast it, it gets the damage bonus. So stuff that's, like, multi-hit and drains slowly still gets the benefit. And it works with mana overcharge. Nice. Very cool. Weighted anklet. Your spin kicks deal 40% more damage. No. Hell no. I don't kill things with spin kick. Are you nuts? There are two types of enemies that can only be killed with spin kicks, and that is the only reason I would want these, but they usually go down in 1 or 2 shots anyway. So why fucking bother? It's like 10% of the cast, and everything else I would rather just be attacking it. I think even a 40% damage boost would put this at like half strength of a normal melee attack. So no thanks. Wardrum we rated, Voltaic Circlet. I have to dock points from Voltaic Circlet because it makes me get hit, and I don't like that. Every time you attack, you apply an AoE field around you that does continuous shock damage, which is good, it's DPS, but it makes it hard for me to see incoming projectiles. So I get hit more often while I proc it. No, bad. Oh, Vanguard's Banner. I forgot about that one. I know what that does, though. Vanguard's Banner is good. That's at least B tier. I could even go as high as A, probably. We'll say... yeah, I think it's right about here. Vanguard's Banner, when you dash, you shoot out a shockwave. It doesn't go very far, but any projectiles it hits are nullified. Actually, maybe just small projectiles, but still. Having that on a relic when you didn't get it on your weapon or your talent or your spell is like, God, yes, somebody loves me up there in the heavens. It's so great to see it. Hey, but it'd be good on a bard. Oh. Yeah, okay. Weighted anklet build on bard. Yes, you can definitely build a spin kick build where you do nutso damage, but it's like once in a blue moon. And I'm not gonna count on that. The heavy stone bargain. I remember that one. I don't like it. It puts a cooldown on your weapon swings in exchange for making them as strong as a serrated handle, which has no cooldown. Just makes you take more damage. And not being able to swing as fast means that you're not killing enemies as fast, which means they're more likely to damage you. So in a way, it's forcing you to take damage, so I rate it low. Future Successor's Bargain, that's what that's called. Steel-toed boots. Spin kicks now apply armor break for 3.5 seconds. That is slightly more useful than weighted anklet, if only because you're not depending on it for damage. You're spin kicking to get a status effect, which is applicable, because like you can spin kick to dodge things. So like you could spin kick a boss to get over its attacks, and then it has armor break and you can fucking lay into it for a couple seconds. That's cool. I think we can bump that a little higher, actually. I would put that like right at... I think Magic Break is probably a similar effect to Armor Break, except Armor Break I understand innately much better. I know what that applies to. Everything has armor. And lowering it means you do more damage, so you can see what you're doing. Magic Break is harder to quantify, so I think I would put this maybe high, maybe low B. Would I take this over Raven's Ring is the question. I think the answer is no. Because I have been known to use Raven's Ring, even though it's kind of swingy. Let's see, what else don't I recognize? We rated Soul Tether. Skeleton Key I'll make an exception for because it is a key, but it's... Wait, is that the key? Yeah, that's the key. I like Skeleton Key. I don't know that it's better than most of this other shit, but it definitely has utility when you're trying to complete the game, because it's a free ether chest, and some of the ether chest challenges are fucking annoying, like the one with all the flamethrowers. So you can just open one up that you failed. It's cool. It's probably not better than most of this other shit in a vacuum, but if you have an ether chest that's melted somewhere in the castle, then you suddenly want this very much. So there's at least one situation. Circuit Stinger, yeah. Your weapon applies 1 stack of poison. Just 1. That's it. Oh yeah, this is probably really good on the revolver. And yeah, fucking even the wiki says mediocre otherwise. No! Thank you. Rage Tincture, Pandora's Trial, Obelisk. Your skill crits have an extra 20% chance of becoming super crits. How did I fucking forget about that? I take this thing all the time. When you don't have super crits yet, this could be like your first exposure to super crits. And when you have them, it's by far the highest percentage stack from like any source. You will super crit after you grab an obelisk. And super crits do hella damage. We like crits in this house. Marble Statue. Oh, I remember that one. Marble Statue is really funny. I think I like it better than Vanguard Banner personally. You could make an argument that one is better than the other, but I think Marble Statue is really funny. Every time you land on the ground after a jump, like fall from the air, you make a shockwave that destroys projectiles that get near it. The reason I find it funny is because it is very, very sensitive. You can be dashing up a slope and trip this thing, and it'll just be like constantly as you're descending platforms. So, like, if you give me a choice between these two, I would say, like, as far as utility, they're about even, but I would take this for the meme. I rumble the ground, you think you can destroy me now? Lotus Stem. Okay, the problem with Lotus Stem is it blocks attacks at the cost of 150 mana. So you might not even have enough to use it. And I need that mana for blocking attacks on my own. This kind of just like takes the decision making away from you. Actually, yeah, I think I do want to rate this lower. It's, yeah, I know it's kind of heresy for me to rate something so low that nulls damage, but like, on the other hand, why are you getting hit? Just don't get hit. But if you do get hit, this will block it, which is cool. I forget, does it respawn? Yeah, no, it only blocks 2 attacks total, so that's probably not even worth it. Why is that epic? The fuck? And it's 45 resolve. No, thank you. Yeah, screw that. I'm pretty happy with where I put that. Actually, I might even put it lower. Yeah, for 45 resolve? Fucking A. I think I'm actually going to put it here. Pretty sure I would take the weighted ankle over the Lotus Stem. That's bad. 45 resolve is a lot. It's a fucking lot. That's like 2 of these other ones in higher tiers. Also, it's fine when you say don't get hit. It's fine when it's Rogue Legacy 2. That's the point of it. It is not fine when it's Elden Ring. You're gonna get hit in Elden Ring. Different game, babe. Also, you would definitely get hit in this because it's a Metroidvania, and you don't have like a pathological level of experience with these things, like the muscle memory of. I was going to say an autistic person, and I was like, wait, I am autistic. Yeah, no, don't get hit is absolutely in effect for this game, because there's a shit ton of ways to just nullify damage or have iframes when something's coming in. Not so for a Souls-like. A little different there. The Jesus Measure we covered. Ivy Seed. I needed to check these because the Ivy ones are similar. Yeah, this is the one that makes an Ivy canopy. Every time you do an aerial recovery, Ivy Seed is Garbo. It annoys me. I'm gonna put it here. I don't like Ivy Seed. Because the problem with making an Ivy canopy every time you aerial recover is I aerial recover every time I get hit. And I'm expecting to fall to the nearest platform that I can see after I do that. Like, it fucks with my muscle memory because it creates a platform directly underneath me. So I'm not where I expect to be when I have the Ivy Seed on. Every time I get hit, which, you know, you're not supposed to, but like, why would you make it worse on the rare occasions where you do get hit? There's no reason for that. And the only reason you'd want an Ivy canopy is so that you can attack from it, which is you're usually not in a very good vantage point after you've been hit. That's a shitty place to want to make an Ivy canopy from. I would much rather control that. Pathologically experienced is ouch. I have played so many platformers for so fucking long. I would say my favorite my favorite genre is RPGs, but the one I'm best at is definitely platformers. That shit, I opened Steam by accident. I'm not playing a game right now. I know it's confusing because I'm streaming, but all right. Let's see. So Ivy Roots is the other one, and that does a must pick for any class using the handheld ballista, which is none ever. Please. Deal 12.5% bonus damage while on the ground. As a relic with no drawbacks that is optional, I like this. I like this effect a lot. Because you can arrange to be on the ground often enough to benefit from that damage bonus. When you're forced to be, that's where I draw the line. But as just a neat bonus for happening to be on the ground when you attack and doing 12.5%, I could honestly pump that a little further, though I don't know, it might be worth more resolve at that point, but yeah. Incandescent telescope, similar, but it only works on enemies far away. This is less good, but not ungood. Fun fact, the incandescence telescope is actually how I figured out the optimal crit range for the katana, because it lines up almost perfectly. So if you have a katana, this is really fucking good. Otherwise, yeah, like you might end up with a weapon that can't even use this, which is why I can't rate it very highly, but it is good if you have one that hits at the effective range. If all you can use with it is like a spell, or God forbid your talent, I don't think any talents hit at range. Actually, the pirate ship does. God, that would be fucking hilarious with the telescope. Yeah, it's very situational, but it's not bad when you're in the right situation. Hyperion's ring we covered, Heron's ring, Hermes boots, Hector's helm. That's the opposite of Achilles shield, so I'm going to rate it lower. While below 50% health, you do bonus damage. That's good, but it's not great. It's decent at best. It can come in clutch, but I don't know. I find it much more helpful to prevent bad situations than worm your way out of them. And this is speaking as somebody who usually does their best in games when the chips are down. Like Rogue Legacy 2 makes it very difficult to come back from a hard situation. It's usually you get a lot more done while you're steamrolling. So like Hector's helm is it's a good, like you could see it's 20%. That's a good bonus. It will help. Shines in situations where you're unable to heal. Okay, yeah. Damn, the wiki is like doing my work for me. Yeah, it can be good in boss fights. It can be good if you're like a hero or whatever the hell it's called. There's a trait where you have a shit ton of max health, but you can't heal ever. That might be good with Hector's helm. Like you have to build for it, but it has a chance. Grave Bell never procs. It's a 25% chance to Hyperion's ring. Which is apparently secretly 0 because I've never had it proc once. So fuck Grave Bell. It sucks. Glowing Ember deals 75% more damage on every 6th hit. Counter resets if you take damage. So this is similar to the other, like the Red Sand Hourglass and the Die of Fate or whatever it's called. Where the fuck is it? There it is. This is another one that only works on hit, so you have to work for the bonus, but the bonus damage is really solid. It's like 75% is nothing to sneeze at, so I can put that, actually I can probably put that higher than, actually I don't know why Icarus' Wings is higher than either of those. I'll put this here. That's pretty good. No, I'm not going to move Fate's Die. That's a lot more situational. I feel like sometimes you use Fate's Die and it's like, oh man, I killed that mini boss, he was going to destroy me. And other times you use Fate's Die and it's like, oh, I one-shot an eyeball. That was going to happen anyway. Freon's Reward we covered. Empty Vessel. Oh, I see. I was wondering about this one. This seems like some kind of special relic, but I couldn't tell what triggered it. Appears in place of a duplicate relic. Only occurs for relics that cannot be stacked or have reached max stacks. Okay. So it's a cheap relic. It's like a consolation relic if whatever the game rolled is not going to work. So 10% bonus health, weapon, and magic damage. I mean, that's a pretty fucking good consolation prize. It's going to be at least up here, I think. Because, yeah, there's no condition. You just get all that. It's yours for free. Dreamcatcher. Defeat enemies while at max HP to gain 5 max mana, max 200. This one's weird, but I do like using it. You know, my whole don't get hit philosophy causes this to come into play quite often. But it's only really useful if you have, like, an expensive spell. Geez, my brain is not working. I've been streaming too long. Like Gravity Beam. I would recommend this. Because then you can potentially shoot 2 gravity beams before you run out of MP. Like, what the fuck? But if your spell's kind of booty, then you're not going to get much out of Dreamcatcher. It's just going to be like, hey, my mana is huge. Cool. Diogenes Bargain is very, very situational. There are some cases where you want it, most cases you don't. You stop gaining gold and instead you get an XP boost. So when you're the only time I would take this is when I'm on a class that I'm not very good at, but it's contrarian, so it's got weapons that I can use, and I'm trying to, like, grind XP while I have the chance. Then I'll take Diogenes Bargain and be like, okay, let's get you to, like, rank 10, and then at least your stats will be decent for future contrarian runs. But that's, like, the only time you want that. Otherwise, gold is more valuable. It sounds like XP would be, because in most games, XP would be the thing that gives you better stats, more skills, you know, lets you play around with weapons and all that shit. But money does all that in this game. So why would you want to trade one for the other? I think we're almost done. Like I said, there's a lot of duplicates on there, or like this, where it, for some reason, it's got the cursed version and then the purified version, even though they're literally the same thing. Like, they're connected. Cosmic Insight. This one goes off when you get hit. If you've been following along, you know why I don't like that. Also, all it does is give you mana. So, that's a really shitty bonus. I don't want to get hit for mana. I can just hit things for mana. That's way better. It's like hit rather than attack or something. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, if that was in reference to Glowing Ember, it's an interesting one. Cornucopia. Cornucopia is good. I think it's better than Gnawed Bone. If you have both, you're really fucking on a roll. Actually, yeah, it's probably better than Dreamcatcher too. Cornucopia is cool. It makes all your health drops heal more. So, nothing to sneeze at. You gotta get all the use out of those you can. Alright, Koya's Shell. This is... Or Koya's... I don't know how you fucking say that. The Shell is a much better version of... Where'd it go? The Lotus Stem. In this version... Let's see, what does it say? Defeat 6 enemies to prevent the next source of damage. So, no mana cost, no charges to run out of. You just kill 6 things, and the next time someone hits you, they don't. I'm gonna put that in A. Because that's really good. That'll save your bacon very often. Because, like, you can take this into a boss fight and get 1 free hit, and even that is a lot. So, like, it doesn't matter that it charges after killing 6 enemies, because what it gives you for that is still incredible. It's still a good trade-off. Cloth Spindle. Critical chance for spells and weapons increased by 10%. Oh, let's read this. In spite of the description saying spells, the critical chance increase also affects talents and magic damage dealt by relics. Huh. It's pretty cool. The 10% is a little low as far as crit bonuses, especially for 25 resolve. So I don't want to rate this super high, but I'll put it like there. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't take it over Cornucopia. Yeah, that's about like the middle of the tier list right now. I think that's a good place for it. Karen's Trial we covered. Catalyst. Deal 20% bonus damage to enemies with a status effect. Okay, so this is the thing that combos with Circuit Stinger. And I guess with Corrupting Reagent. Wait, did I rate that higher than Circuit Stinger? What is wrong with me? That was dumb. Yeah, no, those both suck. But if you have Catalyst, they get significantly better. The problem is Catalyst doesn't need either of those to function. It can work just fine with any other status effect you're able to apply, which can include much better ones from much better relics. So yeah, I don't think I can justify putting it any higher though, because you have to have a status effect to make use of it. It doesn't do anything on its own, which is kind of a bummer. Boxing Bell is good. It gives anything combo. Combo is good on most weapons. Even the slow ones benefit from it. It's just not as consistent. And when you get a fast weapon, it's fucking nuts. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna rate that higher than see because it procs more often. Body Buffet. This one's funny. Defeated enemies have an 8% chance of dropping a health drop, like they do by default in a lot of other games. It just adds a mechanic to the game. That said, it is good. It's about as good as Cornucopia, I'd say. Instead of getting more out of your healing opportunities, it generates more healing opportunities. So they're roughly even. Just, you know, a slight difference in mechanism. Arcane Necklace. Cast 3 spells to charge the necklace and make the next cast free. This is another one that depends on which spell you have. So there was one that I put that I mentioned that about. Now I don't remember. Oh, Dreamcatcher. Yeah, I think these are about even. Because again, it depends on which spell you have. Some they might not be so useful on. Others, they might be like fucking amazing. I would get this every time if I had Prism Burst. Because having a free Prism Burst whenever I want is just crazy. Antikythera. Gain 10% magic damage per enemy defeated. Bonus lost when hit. This, I kind of fell out of love with this after a while, but even so, I think it deserves a pretty high rating, because it's, you know, if you don't get hit, like I recommend, then you're getting a lot of bonus magic damage. But since it's only magic damage, you have to have a spell or a talent that does damage. So if you got this as weapon damage, it would be S tier easy. Like, no contest. Especially for 35 resolve, that's not bad. As it stands, it's decent. Ambrosia. This is the one exception I'm going to make for the procs when you get hit rule, because it can actually save you from getting hit again. So I think, yeah, I'm going to put that a little higher than the... No, actually it goes higher than that too. Yeah, that looks good. Ambrosia is cool. It extends your invincibility window, so you can like damage boost through shit. And like, if you get hit, this is really useful if you have a trait where you like panic when you get hit. Like the screen darkens or you lose the ability to attack. It helps you mitigate those and make them a little bit more worth having for the gold bonus. And if you haven't quite mastered the don't get hit thing, this can be very helpful in getting you the rest of the way. Yeah, Amaterasu's Sun is 55 resolve. It is not worth that. Your weapon applies or extends burn for 2 seconds. That extends is what kills it, honestly. It should just boost the damage or something. Did we go through them all? No, I missed one. Where was that? Did I not see it? I know that's one of these, but I don't remember what it does. Oh, Lotus Petal. Increases your total mana pool by 50, deal 8% more magic damage. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, it's a smaller version of like 2 other relics, but it doesn't have any conditions. So that's pretty solid actually. I'll put it like there. Maybe no. I don't think it's higher than the ring. The ring does more damage on average, especially the way I play the game. All right, are we missing any? Did we do all the relics? All the relics that count. Blessings, those all come packaged with curios. The keys don't actually do anything. These are broken. This goes with an armor. These are purified. That's broken. That's broken. Okay, yeah, so there's all the relics. Yeah. You'll notice that the highest rated ones are either healing or crazy damage boosts. You may be seeing a pattern. Mostly the way I play this game is I stack lifesteal and crit damage, and if anything hits me, I hit back like tenfold, and then I just get all my health back. So like I try very hard not to make mistakes, and then I have a contingency plan, which is turn the mistake into fucking health. So yeah, that definitely colors some of my other tier lists. Like these are inexorably going to be connected. I rate some of these higher because of which classes I like the most and which weapons I like the most. You'll notice that a lot of these synergize with Assassin, which is why I like them. But, you know, I would use the Serrated Handles bargain on any class. I would use it on Mage. Matter of fact, I would probably be really thankful to have it on Mage, because Mage's DPS kind of sucks. So I'm like, yes, I can keep things away from me now. Or like, you know, Hermes Boots. I might prefer that on Dragon Lancer, just so that I don't have as many mishaps where I stab something in the air and then my recovery time causes me to plummet into spikes. But it works on other stuff. So, you know, it's not entirely dependent on that, but you can definitely tell how it's colored by the things that I already like to do. Lifesteal is just so broken in so many games, turning DPS into sustain. Yeah, it's funny because I've always had trouble figuring out what my playstyle is, like in a nutshell, like what archetype I fit into, because I play very different things depending on the game, and I play so many games that like I'm always thinking about, well, what about this game where I do this? You know, it's the same thing when I try to figure out how I describe what fighting game characters I play. I don't know. It's rough because I go for a lot of quirky shit. But one thing that's really consistent for me is pseudo tanking. I really like pseudo tanking in just about any game where it's like a factor in the mechanics. So tanking not by having really good damage resistance and shrugging off hits, but by some unusual means, like not getting hit at all or healing off the damage like instantly by just attacking stuff. So I like lifesteal, I like dodge tanking, I like, you know, crit builds, which is the best kind of tanking. Don't let them hit you, kill them first. Who wants to be a meat wall? Now give me a crazy regen tank or dodge tank. Yeah, I've had fun with meat walls on occasion, but usually it's like a hybrid. Because the thing with a bog standard tank is they usually don't do very good damage, and that pisses me off. If I'm going to take hits, I need to be dishing them out too. Otherwise, I'm just waiting for somebody else to do the fun part for me. Which is why I'm not crazy about MMOs, because it forces you into the role of take all the hits, do none of the damage. Yeah, I'm going to try not to get into that because I have some feelings about certain MMOs that are really popular that have gotten me into some arguments with good friends already. But also that's not relevant to any of this shit. So yeah, there's my relic tier list. Here, let's review all my tier lists for today. There's the classes. Matter of fact, I'll save them. If my computer doesn't fucking vomit all over itself. Oh, I think I already did this, but I'm overwriting it. Because this is the more recent version. There's my classes. If you play this game, you want Assassin and you want Valkyrie as soon as possible. Valkyrie's really early. Assassin, you'll have to spec into some crit stuff first. Avoid these four like the plague. Bad, bad, bad. I mean, get them eventually for completion's sake, if you're into that, but... There's my weaponry. There's my spells. I feel like I was getting kind of sloppy with the spells. If I went back over it, I'd probably change some placements, but this is... yeah, it's decent. It's not offensive to the senses. And there's my relics. Alright, so here's the thing that I expected to happen while I was doing a... The fuck? Even when I minimize, that doesn't go away. X out. So here's the issue that I'm having that I was kind of worried about if I do a just chatting stream, is that I'm fucking, like, frayed at the throat because I don't drink enough water to just be talking literally nonstop. So if I'm gonna do this in the future, I definitely need to stay hydrated better than I usually do. Because I'm a little scratchy at the moment, but it was fun nonetheless. I enjoyed just having opinions at the internet for a while. Not too much turnout, but it was nice of y'all to show up regardless. It made it worth doing at least. And maybe in the future, I can actually take some requests. Y'all can, like, you can post tier lists in my Discord server at any point in time. And I can just, like, save them up for a stream. I might do that with a couple things, actually. I got an idea from watching this guy named 2Mad of just making a Discord channel for You Laugh, You Lose type of stuff. Or just using the memes channel. Fuck it. I mean, we already have one. That's where the funny goes. And then just, like, scroll through that during a stream. Because then that already has the person who posted it, like, right on it, so it would work really well for my idea where I, like, do a point system. Every time you make me laugh, you get a point. Every post already has your name on it, so I don't have to, like, ask who posted this and then take people at their word. Which I'd have to do with, like, a huge playlist. So I may start running those out of my Discord. Just, like, using that in streams, but we'll see. So I could do a similar thing with tier lists, is why I bring that up. It's just, like, keep a channel for them. So we'll see. That might be on its way tonight or tomorrow. But for now, it's quite late on my end. It's almost midnight, and I need to get my sleep, or I get very, very sleepy. If I don't sleep at the optimal time, I need, like, twice as much sleep. So I gotta hit the sack, but quick. But yeah, thanks for turning out. It was kind of a weird stream tonight, but I just felt like trying something different. And I'm trying to follow my spontaneity a little more, because it seems like the only way that I'm gonna stream more often in general. So, damn, that's a bot. Oh fuck. There we go. That was a weird one. I didn't even read that whole thing. Thanks for the first time chat, bot. Yeah. Good timing on that. Yeah, thanks for coming out. This was a weird one, but I just wanted to experiment a little bit and, you know, be spontaneous. Spend more time on air, because that's what gets you discovered. So, you know, that's what everybody says to do. And short of overcoming my, like, lifelong anxiety around schedules, just following my own whims is kind of the only way for me to be on air more consistently. So might see more of these in the future, but I'm going to try and constrain it to this general time frame, like evenings EST wise, so at least people have some idea when to expect me. But yeah, I'm going to branch out to other days of the week. Could be weekends, could be, you know, Monday, Wednesday, could be Tuesday, depending on the week. But I'm going to mix it up a little more than I have been, because I think the once every Friday is not working for me. Or it's okay, but I think I can do better. Thanks for streaming. Look forward to catching you when I can. There's no silver bullet here. Got to try things out. Yeah, for real. Every streamer's different, and that goes not just for your goal as a streamer, but also for how you reach it. There's a lot of different paths to the same results, as I'm finding out. Whether we like it or not, because, you know, even if there is a tried and true method to success, you might just find out that it doesn't work for you for some reason. Like, you just can't hang it. It just don't. It don't. And yeah, in that case, you have to try something different. You might be built different. Yeah. Yeah, in a nutshell. So I'm figuring me out, and my hope is that in the meantime it's at least fun to watch. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again very soon. Pretty sure everybody here is already in my Discord, so you know that's where to check for stream updates for next time I go live. But if you don't, click the thingy in my socials. I think that still works. And someday I'll probably have a Twitter for updates as well, but that's not here yet. So just check my Discord. All right, everybody. Good night. And thank you all for your support. And be gay, do crime. Sorry, I missed Pride. Happy Wrath Month. Bye. God, my voice.